Wahooey. Banjo Wahooey, my favorite N64 game. Alright, yep, I see the Strem. We are good.
Hooray!
Tonight on Of the Devil. The Devil!
Probably.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Aram. I'm streaming this game. And I'm here with some of my friends, and we're reading through it with all the voices and stuff. Standard disclaimer. This is the third stream of episode 1, which is not the first episode. There is an episode 0, so, like, definitely don't watch this if you have no idea what this is or what's going on. I recommend you quickly skidoo out of here and instead watch episode 0 if you want a really fucking cool experience. And then, if it was to your palate, then you can watch episode 1, the first 2 streams, and then this one, and you'll be all caught up, and you'll feel like $1 million because you'll have experienced a cool mystery. So yes, the game is Of the Devil. This is an indie game. They just released episode 1 2 weeks ago. And, I like it a lot. It's really nice. It's an Ace Attorney Danganronpa-ish kind of game. Those are the most obvious reference points. But frankly, we're all finding the writing a lot better and the gameplay refreshingly direct and not, padded out with needless bullshit. And tonight, so far, this episode, there hasn't been a ton of gameplay to speak of because we've been doing all the investigation stuff, but we're about to go into court. There's going to be all sorts of fun mini-games where we have to prove that we are logical and intelligent people who can add 2 and 2. And unlike when I played episode 0, I am blind for this one, so I don't know the answers. I could fuck up. I could misunderstand things. We'll see if I lose. I hope I don't. I think that's about all you need to know about what we're doing tonight. I don't know if we'll finish the game or not. I'm not sure if the court segment is as long or shorter or what compared to the investigation. My guess is there will be 2 streams, but you never know. This could end up being the finale if we are really smart and it goes really fast. I am Aram, as I said, and I'm joined by 4 other people who I will go through in Discord order, starting with William.
Hi, I'm Will. You remember me from last time. I'm around here often. That's all.
And Jello?
I'm the green one.
Jello is the one whose channel it is. And Oz?
Might still be up.
Still up.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
No, no, I've been here the whole time. Hello, it's me. Hi.
And, Yam.
Hello, I'm Yam. I have tea. Chat, tell me your favorite tea.
Ooh.
Yeah, capital or lowercase?
And
The injection kind.
tell me your favorite tea also could mean tell me your favorite lurid fact about a thing. That's a
That's
secret.
right, Chad. Aram knows this slang.
That's right. I'm wise to the tea. I'm hip to that jazz.
Oh.
Mm.
Wow,
And
there's so many good teas.
And that's what's going on tonight, and I don't think there's any need for any more preamble. We're gonna get straight into it, and I'll probably immediately need to turn the sound down, because that's how it's gone, but we'll see. Oh, actually, this would have been better done sitting on the title screen, but I'm gonna take this opportunity as we're going into court. If is the game... Oh, okay. As we're going into court... I would love to take this opportunity to make my own predictions. Yep, music getting loud immediately. To make my own predictions about, like, what we're gonna find out, what the mysteries will be, and to invite any of my co-hosts to do the same. So I didn't, like, sit down and review the evidence and try to come up with a comprehensive theory of everything that happened, but my guesses would be, I think... we're going to find out some unsavory things about David that we don't yet know, because we've already gotten an indication from talking to Isaac that he was very in his own head and tended not to think about the impact that his choices had on other people. And so I don't think it'll turn out he was, like, secretly a really bad guy, but it would not surprise me if we found out something that made us look at him in a different and more negative light after the fact. I suspect that the how did he die will not be as straightforward as, like, Helen poisoned him for some very straightforward reason, like, I wanted to take credit for his inventions or whatever. I don't think it's gonna be that straightforward.
Yeah.
I suspect there's going to be some twist in that it'll turn out that, like, he didn't commit suicide, but his death was an accident that was like a tragedy of circumstance, or I think it's going to be something along those lines. I don't think it's just going to be, yup, X person decided to murder him and then did. Maybe it will be, but based on how the first episode 0 went, I kind of suspect it'll be more clever than that.
It also occurs to me as you're saying that it could just be an accident or whatever. I'm going to assume that these devs, because they have proven us right so far, I assume that these devs are not going to pull it was Sarah's fault by accident, a la Ace Attorney.
No, I don't think they will. I think what's going to happen vis-a-vis Sarah is that if it turns out there was that David had some negative quality we don't currently know about him, or was, like, up to some shit, that the reason that makes sense to me in a metatextual way as a consequence of this case is because Sarah is kind of has this unalloyed positive view of him, and idolizes him, and was the one who wanted to uncover the truth about his death instead of just leaving it as it was. So it feels like, from a dramatic narrative standpoint, her desire to learn the truth turning out to be a truth she would have rather not known feels appropriate. And also, it feels like that sends her relationship with Morgan in an interesting direction if it's rather than just, well, my creator, who is infallible, told me to go with you, so I'm going with you. If it's like, oh, well, my creator wasn't so infallible, and I guess now you're the only thing you're all I've got left.
So, I'm content to let this mystery just ride, more or less, and not think too much about it. That said, I did have one thought that I didn't really double check on. I just sort of, like, thought about it before going to bed or something one night. What was the last thing that David said before he died? It was something like, I'm content with ending it like this, or something.
Yeah, he did say something sus like that.
I think that was probably referring to his breakup.
Oh, could be, yeah.
That's an interesting idea.
Yeah, I'm gonna be interested to see if Isaac's involvement in the story is more than just, I'm here to give you another perspective on him as a person. Because, like, I think that would be fine, but it wouldn't surprise me if we were gonna learn there was some greater significance to the events of their relationship or the timing of their breakup.
I don't know. I could very well be wrong, but I sort of think that David is probably, like, a fine individual that has flaws, probably like anyone else, and definitely isn't as infallible as Sarah thinks he is. But I think for the most part, he's probably going to turn out to be, like, a fine person. That is nonetheless a pretty horrible boyfriend. And I think him being like, well, I'm glad it ended like this is sort of an admittance of, like, I probably wanted to break up for a long time, but didn't want to broach the topic because I don't like interacting with people and it would be awkward and I just didn't want to. So the fact that Isaac did it for me is good. And he can sort of move on and feel cathartic about it, and I can just go on with my life, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think I had a bit of a fridge thought the other day, and I don't quite remember what it is. I think it might have been related to the fact that, like, David seemed to be doing, like, a lot of work that just like a person typically would not have been able to handle under like regular circumstances. So I think there's going to be some sort of maybe a twist around that, or at least like it'll expound on it a bit more.
This is well written, so I have no reason to speculate, and I just let it ride.
Okay.
Yeah.
It will be good.
Yep.
Just a preliminary hearing, huh? You wouldn't know it from the look on her face. But I shouldn't have expected any leeway once we stepped into the courtroom. Not with her.
That's the adjutant up there. Is it asleep?
It's loading.
It needs to load?
Don't be rude. Not every ad can afford to be decked out as extravagantly as you. Especially not those the state buys in bulk.
There's an audience.
You mean the gallery? That's nothing. Could have been a lot worse. Word of any trial in the case of David Asher's death must have spread like wildfire. Even a mock trial like this one. Detectives like Reyes or London would get chewed out for leaking things to the press, but uniformed officers had little to lose and a lot to gain by dropping a text to their attentive friends in the media. And then there's the corporate plants. Interns, usually. Preferably ones with modded eyes. It's illegal to film inside a courtroom, but this is the year 2086. Things are gonna get out one way or another. I don't like having my face on camera. I don't like attention in general. But I'm not such a coward that I'd skip David's funeral just because there'd be paparazzi outside of it. My pretty little likeness was gonna end up in the background of some tabloid photograph, one way or another, by the end of this circus. At least this way, it's decent marketing for my legal services.
What will happen once the adjutant finishes loading? How will the trial proceed?
With all those films you watch, I figure you could extrapolate.
I am asking so as to correct any misconceptions.
Well, not everything you saw on the silver screen is outdated. The court will come to order, and there will be a clarification of the charges. The defense enters a plea, and if it's not guilty, the prosecution begins making their case.
That means calling witnesses to the stand, correct?
Mostly. Sometimes they'll testify virtually from a separate location. Depends on the security concerns surrounding the particular individual and the case.
What do you do then? Sit here and watch?
Not if I want to get paid. I cross-examine witnesses after the prosecution are done questioning them. I can present evidence or witnesses of my own in response, as long as I have discovery backing me.
You've said that before. Discovery means...
Just that I can't pull stuff out of my pockets and present it without any kind of context. I have to have proof that I acquired it legally during the course of my investigation. Most of the time that means having recordings or witnesses that can verify my investigation.
Which I can provide.
You didn't think I was letting you tag along because I liked you, did you?
And the jury? I don't see where they sit.
The jury hasn't sat in the actual courtroom for years now. They have their own chambers, where they watch a feed of the trial's proceedings in anonymity.
And that's not an issue? Don't people want to look someone in the eye before passing judgment on them?
You've got an old-fashioned sense of justice, don't you? But there's no jury at a preliminary hearing anyway. It's only meant to evaluate whether or not the prosecution has enough evidence to go to trial. Mere formality in today's day and age. Tools like optics and arcs, there's never any shortage of evidence to work with.
So all you have to do today is convince the adjutant.
Easier said than done. Adjutants lean heavily towards evidence over arguments. And right now all the evidence suggests that David killed himself. It's going to be an uphill battle I can't afford to stumble. I need to focus on establishing an alternate interpretation of the facts, and it needs to be solid. But I don't have a suspect or even a motive for killing David. Yet. Anyway, I'll need to be sharp. Emma doesn't play nice enough for me to be anything less.
I think it's waking up.
This third lower court is now in session. Adjutant AD-84 presiding. I call to order the case of the people versus Asher. Do the people wish to make an opening statement?
No, Your Honor.
No point in bothering when it's just the adjutant here.
Very well. Hello, Echo.
Hang on.
Oh, is that from me?
No, it's me. Hang on.
Okay.
Very well. Do the defense wish to make an opening statement?
Not at this time, Your Honor. Might as well ring the bell and get this shit show start.
If neither the people nor the defense wish to make an opening statement, then it falls to me to set the stage. My model name is Adjutant. My unit designation code is 8084. I am a machine, an automated dependent, and I serve the state by presiding over trials. You might find yourself wondering, why? What gives a machine the right to judge a human? A fair question, but the answer is simple. In every culture, in every society, no matter how it is worshipped, enshrined, or deified, justice has one defining quality. Justice is beautiful. Like a balanced equation, like the golden ratio, like the Vitruvian man, justice is beautiful. So, what gives me the right? This gorgeous bod?
I wish to be like her. Just staring.
Whatever, forget it. Forget I said anything. I was trying to lighten the mood, but I can see everyone hates me. Do the trial without me. They're guilty or whatever.
Oh my gosh.
little bit of loop
Hello?
creeping in at the end there. Just an idea.
I did say to Amy, I was like, I did preview what kind of character the judge was going to be, and they are a little loop coding.
Your
Joe, do you
Honor.
have the door to the third floor open?
Yeah, hang on.
Yeah, you might want to close it.
Close the door on the third floor of the gallery. I can hear myself echoing.
Wait, what the flip? This defendant's already dead. Why are we doing this? Is this a debug thing? Because I'll log the error if I need to.
No, Your Honor, this is a preliminary hearing to determine whether David Asher did, in fact, commit suicide, as he...
I get it. You want to make sure he wasn't cuckoo in the cranium before you cut up his will like a T-bone.
I didn't realize that adjutants were so lively.
They aren't. They're supposed to be austere and statuesque. Looks like we got served the most in need of repairs adjutant the court system could find. Whatever paper pusher we rushed to get this trial going must have wanted a little payback for the kindness.
What's that look for? Could it be you're trying to size me up?
Wouldn't dream of it, Your Honor.
I love
Yeah,
her.
I'm still hearing some feedback noises like that I heard again, and that definitely was not loud enough to go down the floors.
All right, I'll be writing the mute button.
Okay.
Good, because if you have doubts about my ability to run this trial, I could always just enact summary judgment here and now. I'm sure you'd find my ruling to be fair and even-handed.
That won't be necessary, Your Honor. She's much more of a character than I'm used to seeing up there, even counting all the flesh and blood judges I've met. But she's still just an adjutant. She'll follow the evidence wherever it leads. So as long as I can make a few adjustments for the occasional outburst from the bench, my plan's still workable.
So, people, shall we get started with that first witness?
Right away, Your Honor. The people call Dr. Yumi Sato to the stand.
It's Yumi.
Hey.
Oh, that's cute. So have at it, pretty lady.
Man, that's rough. Yeah, no, it's definitely coming from you. Shit.
Sorry.
You swear to tell the whole and unadulterated truth to the best of your ability?
I do.
Good enough for me.
Dr. Sato, you were in charge of the autopsy for David Asher, were you not? I was. And when did you make your examination? It started last night. Well, technically 1 a.m. would be very early this morning.
I think you can still say last night if you're talking about 1 in the morning and you're not talking to Will.
Incorrect. Yeah.
Objection!
Huh.
The defense will have their opportunity to cross-examine. Until then, they should refrain from making errant remarks.
The hell? All I said was...
Yeah, what she said.
You mean sustained?
Don't get cute with me, counselor.
We take damage for that.
Being cute is my job.
God damn, we've barely gotten started.
That seemed pretty bad, Adonai.
Making mistakes will fuck you up. Blind is how much credit you'll lose for answering incorrectly when you yourself aren't controlling the ante. Blind increments on its own throughout the trial as the stakes get higher, but resets at the end of each day. Starts and caps out at a higher number if you're playing in High Roller. Okay. So, we know what we're losing anytime we have a prompt that's not letting us bet a specific amount.
We should try to avoid being penalized in the future.
Thanks for the tip. Shake it off. I'll get my chance to raise objections of my own soon enough.
Dr. Sato, were you able to determine the cause of death? He passed away due to respiratory failure. Could you explain what that means to the court? Essentially, he wasn't getting enough oxygen into his blood. It seems by the time he arrived at the hospital, he was no longer breathing. What does respiratory failure look like? What are the symptoms? There would be lightheadedness, dizziness, fainting, pale skin, and a bluish tinge around certain extremities. And the condition he was in matched those symptoms? Correct. In your experience, what are the most common causes of respiratory failure? It can be caused by injury or disease, but the subject had no wounds or reported illnesses, and otherwise appeared to be perfectly healthy. And what else could cause respiratory failure then? It is also commonly seen in fatal drug overdoses. Drug overdoses. Did you perform a tox screen on Dr. Asher? Yes, but his tox screen came back clean. Whatever killed him, it wasn't something we've encountered before.
Wait, a clean tox screen. Clean? Dialogue will proceed automatically during testimony, but you can still advance text faster. Okay. You'll need to read carefully and wait for this witness to make a statement that sounds wrong! That good old Lex Luthor meme circa 2006. Then hit the call button to call their bluff. Okay, so this is press on a statement, effectively, is what I'm
Yeah.
getting from this. Testimony will keep repeating from the beginning until you call. Okay, so it's just, yeah, but it's specifically, we're not just pressing for more information. We are indicating a statement that we think is actively wrong. And presumably...
It's Danganronpa Bullet.
Yeah. So real quick, I just want to check what we have about the talk screen here. Clean. Alcohol was the only item, so maybe specifically we're going to nitpick the fact that actually you found alcohol in his system. We'll see. We'll see how it's
Yeah.
worded. Can't let
If it's specifically about the tox screen, then that picked up alcohol, but she also said that she did a different test after of his blood, and then she found something.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm trying to
that's
remember if we
right.
got that. Okay, yeah. Unknown substance detected in blood scream. 20 milligrams total. Okay. Yeah, so that is worth noting. Can't let this chance slip by. I need to catch her mistake the second it comes out of her mouth. Oh, okay. It has to be one of these three, I guess. Okay. Eventually wasn't getting enough oxygen in his blood, yeah. Lightheadedness, dizziness, then fainting. Be attributed to a drug overdose. But when the tox screen was run at the hospital, it came back clean. Left click to make your choice before the timer runs out.
Oh.
Okay. Not poisoned. Yeah. Fuck. Okay.
It's fast.
It's fast.
fast. Yeah.
Open your mouth without thinking. Hmm? There's only room for one airhead in this courtroom, and it's not you. It's me.
It's me. Wee. Okay, I thought we were just going to press the statement and then pick an evidence, but yeah, no, that's more consistent with how they did it in the first case. So real quick, I just want to check what the whiskey says. No foreign elements or toxins known to be a brand favored by the deceased. I wonder if we are starting by nitpicking alcohol was positively identified on the talk screen. I'm going to present the whiskey at that statement.
Sure.
Okay. Whiskey. Wanna bet? Ow! Ow! Piece of shit! What the fuck?
She just dies. She actually is dead. That's it.
Judge, what the fuck?
The Heartbreak Killer strikes again. It's
Gambit says his regards.
It's impossible for David Asher's talk screen to be clean, and we all know it, since he was on camera drinking alcohol the night that he died.
That makes sense.
And that scared you?
The witness merely misspoke, Your Honor. As it plainly states on the tox report itself, Dr. Asher did have alcohol in his blood, but not at such concentration as to be lethal. Yeah, my bad. When I said the tox screen was clean, I just meant I didn't tell the attending physicians anything they didn't already know.
Overall, a little more nitpicky than I like to be, but at least I was able to balance out the momentum, more or less.
Shall we continue, Dr. Sato? If the tox screens were negative for the pharmaceuticals and drugs, what caused Dr. Asher's respiratory failure? During my autopsy, I analyzed his blood and was able to isolate a foreign compound.
A bullet.
So there was a lethal dose of a drug inside his body. It just happened to be a drug that the hospital had never encountered before.
Just a single whole bullet just squinging through his bloodstream. He's been poisoned.
Bullets.
That's correct.
Every time David and I used to get drinks together, he'd always swallow part of a bullet.
Jello,
You're so
you
quiet.
are now tiny.
I'm trying to learn how to ride this new game.
Okay.
It's really fucking
That was
difficult
more
because
sensitive than you may have anticipated.
It does not have a ticker. It thinks that a moving light thing is enough to tell me how loud I am. It's not.
Okay. Anyway, that's correct. I think we're all going to get tired pretty fast if we don't at least pick a placeholder name for this substance, Your Honor.
The people don't object, Your Honor.
Give me a second. Oz, just read for me for a couple lines. I'm literally grabbing a piece of tape and going, I'm going to mute and go as loud as I can so I can just put a fucking little indicator on where this actually is.
Okay. In that case, I'll put all my creative heuristics to work coming up with an original, scientific, fitting name for this substance. A name like Omega-3!
That name is already taken.
Fine, call it Delta, or whatever.
Delta, used in science to denote an unknown variable. Not bad. Delta has other meanings when it comes to drugs, but yeah, our Delta matches no known public pharmacology or toxicology records. Ugh. That being said, chemically, it does have all the hallmarks of a general depressant.
I know the feeling.
So it stands to reason that it would exhibit a similar effect on the body when ingested. You say ingested. Why? I eliminated all possibilities during my examination of the body. He must have swallowed it, and judging from his stomach contents, it must have been a liquid. Thank you, Dr. Sato. Shall I summarize things for the court?
Yes, please! I wasn't listening that closely.
The victim died of respiratory
I
failure.
love this. This is great. Fucking shiny glasses pushing up ass thing.
And his tox screen shows that his blood was clear of anything that could cause respiratory failure. Except for this unknown substance. The poison we've labeled Delta.
Well, that sounds like a textbook suicide. Should we wrap it up here?
Not quite yet, Your Honor.
Okay,
This-
sorry. How does this sound? Right.
Okay,
Pardon me?
like maybe just a tiny smidge quiet, but pretty correct.
Okay, because I was like, surely just turning this alt all the way to the right will hit the end of thing. No, it spins forever. I
Oh.
hate the march of technology.
Sometimes you want to go up to your interface and just go wee and see how long it goes.
Why on earth would they design it this way? Okay.
This may clearly be a poisoning, but there's at least one detail about this case that doesn't feel like a suicide at all.
I don't want it to be
I
one.
am a murderer. Let's see. Drank before death, negative for poison. Drank with David before he died. Didn't see him add anything, corroborated by cam footage. Died from respiratory failure, unknown substance in blood. It's a classic suicide is what we're trying to rebut. Probably the fact...
He didn't leave a note.
The fact, I think I would assume the fact that he chose to do this while drinking with another person is rather unusual. I'm gonna try that. The people shouldn't get ahead of themselves. There's nothing textbook about a supposed suicide that had a witness sitting there watching it happen.
As you say.
Sorry, still futzing with stuff.
Well, now I'm lost. Was this poisoning a suicide or not?
If that's the case, then perhaps we should give the defense the opportunity to cross-examine. Unless they're going to insist on testifying themselves.
Oh, how kind of you to offer. Ball's in my court now. So how do I counter? Emma's argument basically goes as follows. David ingested the Delta knowingly, and the Delta caused his respiratory failure. He died of respiratory failure, thus David committed suicide. Ooh, we're mixing card games now.
Oh!
During Blacked Jack, every piece of
Oh.
information you learn deals you a card. Choose only the questions that are logical and relevant, and only press if you think a line of questioning is worth continuing, or else you'll go bust and lose credit.
No.
Hover over press to see what the follow-up question would be. You can only win blackjack when you reach exactly 21, so if you don't press further if you're already there, and don't ask the wrong questions. Okay.
Neat.
With my cross-examination, I need to put a a little thing making bigger looking thing over the weakest part of that argument, and hope that some crack...
Someone in chat recommends saves coming for this first time you do this, apparently.
Okay.
Maybe just have one file just in case. Maybe you'll nail it.
I forget.
I think it's top right. Or the
Like-
upload and download.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay. I'm losing women.
We'll have
There's
so many.
so
Oh
many
my
empty
God.
And you're saving the top slots that aren't women for some reason.
I don't know,
Oh.
man. I'm a mystery, and hope that some cracks will appear under pressure. Okay, are you sure it was ingested? I think we're pretty certain of that, because before
Right.
we came into trial, Morgan was talking about, is there any way to disconfirm that assertion? And basically no, because he had no wounds, and there was no opportunity for him to inhale it that wouldn't have also poisoned Helen. Are you sure it was respiratory failure? Are you sure Delta is
it's
to blame?
Delta.
And then
Delta.
And then it said hover over press to see what the follow-up... Okay, I guess that's after we ask one of these. All right, sure. Dr. Sato, you were only able to even identify the presence of this Delta after hours of work. Can you really be sure that this never-before-seen chemical can cause respiratory failure?
Well, I have had time to run simulations, and they do give every indication that it would act as a depressant, and just enough of any depressant and respiratory failure would occur.
And what's the follow-up question? Only simulations.
Well, yeah, she doesn't have it, so it would make no sense for her to be able to.
I wonder, I'm going to stay because I want to see if we are allowed to then ask a different question and see what total we get to, etc., to try and inform this. Okay. Are you sure it was, I think she's probably sure it was respiratory failure, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we'll press further on this one. You've ran simulations, so you haven't tested Delta on an actual person?
No, I haven't. That would be very difficult to do given our extremely limited sample. Not to mention highly unethical.
Of course. But without such a test, you don't actually know for sure that Delta can cause any of the symptoms you've described.
Was there a question in that statement, Counselor?
You don't actually know for sure, do you?
No, not yet, anyway.
Okay,
Okay.
that's
Alright.
the end of that one. All right, well, I'm gonna still assume that we don't need to ask this, so let's try this.
Yeah.
Isn't it possible that he actually died from something other than respiratory failure?
Well, no, not really. You could argue or speculate about what caused the respiratory failure, but it is, in fact, a fact that he died because his heart and lungs stopped working.
Right, thank you for that. All right. Dr. Sato, you said, I suppose we still need to discuss this even if we're pretty sure of the answer. You said that the subject had to have ingested the Delta orally, but how sure can we actually be about that?
Pretty sure. I mean, I could go into detail about all the cavities that I checked, but
No.
But how can we be sure that the subject ingested the Delta knowingly?
well, we can't be sure of that. Certainly not just from an autopsy.
You said it must have been a liquid, yes? Would it have been a large amount?
Depends on the concentration of the delivery solution. It could have been just a drop.
The kind of thing that could easily go unnoticed, yes.
Calls for speculation, Your Honor.
Withdrawn.
Oh man, I wanted to jump on her case.
Seems like that's... a blackjack!
Oh,
Okay.
Thank you for your time, Dr. Sato. We all appreciate it. But it does seem like we're still in the dark about many details regarding Dr. Asher's death, wouldn't you say?
Well, poisoning via the compound we're calling Delta is still the most likely explanation.
So there are other explanations for what happened?
Defense is calling for speculation, Your Honor.
It's not speculation when a medical examiner is attempting to explain the cause of death, Your Honor.
The witness will answer the question.
Well, respiratory failure can be caused by illness. If he had undiagnosed pneumonia or some other disease and his respiratory system was weakened, undiagnosed pneumonia with his level of healthcare, it is technically possible.
I'll take it! I have no more questions for this witness. Ugh, that felt weak, but I can't be picky when I'm stalling for time.
Oh, am I supposed to be decrypting right now? Sorry.
Sorry,
Stage 3 starting.
I heard blackjack, and I've just been running 80 parallel games of the Microsoft game. Seeding doubt about wherever I can, however I can, is just about all I can manage.
Detective Reyes, you were one of the leads in investigating this crime scene.
Yes, ma'am.
And did you interview the EMTs who first arrived on the scene?
I did. They responded to an emergency signal from the home's security console located in the kitchen.
What did they find when they arrived on the scene?
The victim was unconscious on the floor of his parlor. He was receiving CPR from a witness, the individual who had called them. They were both airlifted to the Gatesfield Memorial Hospital, and Dr. Ashard was declared dead shortly after arriving there.
She's actually handling herself pretty well up on the stand. I half expected her to roll her eyes during the swearing in. Roll her eye. But when you take into consideration her love for boot heel authority, she might be right at home here in the courtroom, the very seat of the state's power over the people.
The witness met with the deceased about a half hour before he fell ill, from 7:30 to 8 p.m. The two of them talked for some time and shared a drink. Shortly after, Dr. Asher became distracted, lightheaded, and eventually non-responsive.
And during the same time period, drinking the same liquor, this witness exhibited no symptoms themselves?
None. Through a collaborative effort with Noble Electronics Security Division, we searched the entire building. But we found nothing unusual in any of the food or drink on the premises, including the bottle that the witness and the deceased drank from.
So what was your ultimate conclusion after investigating the scene?
The whiskey bottle was clean. The witness's drink was clean. Only person who got sick was Dr. Asher, drinking from a cup that he had prepared. So, it was our determination that David Asher committed suicide by poisoning himself.
She's pretty tight-lipped up there, but I think she slipped up at least once. The police want to claim that they've eliminated every other possibility and covered every angle, but I know that there are a number of blind spots that they're not willing to admit to. The cup!
The coup.
What does the cup say? What does the cup say? Let's see, that's young.
I feel like you should wait until all three of your options.
Oh,
for
are they
evidence
coming in? Oh, okay, I see. I thought,
Yeah.
I didn't realize they were
Drugs?
Drug?
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 Pronounced like whoa, whoa.
Whoa?
Okay. That seems unobjectionable. And there was no opportunity for the witness to ever slip him something possibly questionable depending on what they can prove. He drank it from a cup that he himself poisoned, is the conclusion there. Seems pretty cut and dry if you ask me. Okay, well, the most like... Oh, well, okay, but just to be sure, we scanned the kitchen, the lab, the basement, and there was no poison anywhere else. Okay. Well... Yeah, so... Okay, there's no trace of poison. I was thinking, they mentioned the kitchen, so there's this glass here that Helen touched. There's no trace of poison, but they can't... They said that the poison was in such a small quantity that they couldn't actually prove a negative. Like, there's no trace of poison, but that doesn't mean
Well,
there wasn't poison.
that's not one of your evidence for this part.
I guess. Okay, let me...
It's the 2 cups and then Delta.
The 2 cups and Delta. Okay. And what does...
There was no poison anywhere else.
I'm sorry, I guess they gave me the 3 cards. I thought they were going to be sitting there so that I could look at them the way they are when you do the, like, card minigame, but they're not, so I have to look at this to figure out what they technically constitute. So, David's cup. Toxicology has proven inconclusive.
Inconclusive is not negative.
It's not negative, yeah.
Yeah.
Young's cup contains no traces of foreign elements, and then Delta.
Wait, can I see Young's cup again? Plastic cup with a small amount of whiskey lifted in it upright on the dining table at the scene
That's
of the crime.
the
Slab and
upright
film.
cup, yeah.
Yeah, why would she have 2 cups?
She doesn't want his David's.
Well,
One is
no,
David's.
because
No,
it's this, and
go-
then there's the other. Oz is talking about this water glass.
The water
though,
glass.
But that's because she was. This was not the one they were drinking the whiskey out of, theoretically. So
Okay.
I think the
It's also not an option right now.
The
It's not an
nominal-
option
yeah.
right now, so...
And then the poison, just for the sake of no additional traces found anywhere at the crime scene or in David's penthouse. Okay. But yeah, no, the fact that it explicitly says the tox on David's cup was inconclusive is probably what we're looking for here.
Yeah, it's inconclusive. I think the trick of this is you don't want to be thinking like Ace Attorney where you're trying to find twists. You actually need to be playing it like a lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
I think I accidentally did upright cup instead of
Yeah, you did
David's
the upright cup.
Yeah.
Fuck! Alright, we're gonna... we'll see this many times, I'm sure. Okay. Empty. No. Empty cup. Okay, yeah, that's...
Yeah,
is empty
the
cup,
knocked
the
over
one that...
one is David's.
They should have
That's
updated...
David's.
They should have updated the names on these. Yeah, okay, the picture matches. That's David's cup. Okay.
Yeah, I do think they should also keep them at the bottom of the screen here. Or like on the side somewhere.
Yeah, okay. There's no poison anywhere else. Empty cup. Nope.
No? Darn.
Okay. Let me look at the statements again, because that still feels like the right train of thought. Yeah, he's the one who proposed it, but there was no opportunity. I don't feel like any of the evidence we have interacts with that statement. He drank from a cup that he himself poisoned. Just to be sure, there was no poison. Okay, and that's the end of the testimony.
Is it he? Which one have you been presenting on? He drank from a cup that he himself poisoned?
No, I've been presenting on there was no poison anywhere else.
Okay, I would do the one that he himself poisoned and then present inconclusive poison testing. Because you can prove the cup, or you can say, hey, we don't know that cup was poisoned.
Okay.
There we go.
Die.
Yep.
You can't make that claim. Not when the evidence record clearly shows that the tests of Dr. Asher's cup were inconclusive.
Oh, it feels so nice to be watching one of these for once and not piloting. And I get to like think about it instead of just going, God, I'm so frustrated right now.
The police can't claim he drank from a poisoned cup without first proving that his cup was in fact poisoned.
Sorry, I was getting a DM.
You're talking a lot of sense, lady. Does it resolve? Or do you have a response, D.A. Rockford?
Does it resolve, or does D.A. Rockford play counterspell?
I really thought it was like Da Rockford.
Da Rockford!
Testing on the deceased cup has been inconclusive so far, Your Honor. I don't dispute that. Though I'd be surprised if the defense has any idea how else the poison could have possibly been delivered to Dr. Asher alone.
Not at this time. But that's the funny thing about the burden of proof. It's not on the defense.
As we're all aware.
Right. We all knew that. I definitely
She's
knew
playing
that.
a fucking
Playing
Switch!
Danganronpa.
Now, if the people are done bemoaning that pesky innocent until proven guilty issue, perhaps I could begin my cross-examination?
Fire away, baby!
Fire away.
Baby? Reyes' testimony is meant to show that David's the only one who could have poisoned himself. She'll be on guard and hard set against helping me. But if I keep her focus on eliminating other possibilities, I could get her to make my point for me before she even realizes what's happened. Was David known for poisoning himself? Was he microdosing on iocane powder?
I think they mean is there camera footage of him doing
Yeah,
it.
no, but it's very funny the way that's. Let's
Riddle me this,
Riddle me
idiot.
this.
Did he ever poison himself before?
before. Then why would he start now?
Yeah, I think it's good to start there.
Sure. Detective, we've been doing a lot of assuming and reasoning in quick succession, so I'll ask this plainly for the court. Is there any photographic evidence showing David Asher adding anything to his drink that night?
No. Seems he had already poured it for the both of them by the time he returned to the parlor.
He had already poured. In that case, the next questions need to be when and what. That actually gives us different questions now. Okay, any poison in kitchen is one we can ask. Could he have been poisoned off camera? I mean, feels like that's where we're going, but...
Yeah, I would go with the middle one because she already said that they did a full search of the entire apartment and they didn't find anything.
Yeah, okay.
One sec, I have to let Al out.
Detective,
The door is too heavy.
isn't it possible that
Go on,
Dr. Asher was poisoned off camera?
Possible? I don't know how
Poss-
else it would have been done. Okay.
But that just goes to show it had to have been suicide. The only time he was off camera, he was all by himself.
Shit, that's not where I wanted to lead the conversation. It might certainly seem that way, yes. Detective Reyes, during the course of your investigation, did you find any samples of Delta in the kitchen or parlor?
No.
That was a fast answer.
Well, it was a pretty easy question. If we had found poison at the scene of the crime, that'd be pretty important, don't you think?
What about in his lab? His bedroom? His basement?
No, and no. We didn't find Delta or any other unusual substances in any part of his penthouse.
Right. They never found any poison. No poison at all. What about a poison container? I mean, the only other thing we can ask is other people in the building, which doesn't feel like where we're trying to go. So I think I'm gonna press here. At any point in the investigation, was poison found on the body of the deceased?
No?
He must have been searched. Did he have any capsules or vials? Eyedroppers?
Didn't even have his wallet on him. Why?
Oh, okay. Is that the end? Hang on. At the end of that one? Okay, so this is just gonna repeat, right? Okay, yeah, okay. So it doesn't give me... Okay, so we already tried this, so... Okay.
I guess it's anyone else, yeah.
The only people you saw on the cameras that night were Dr. Asher and this witness, correct?
Yeah. There was no footage of in the house of anyone else.
Are there any parts of the house that aren't recorded by camera?
Sure. There are a number of rooms in the home's interior that don't have cameras in them.
So it's possible that there were other people there that night, because cameras weren't watching every room.
No, that's not possible. The only way up to the penthouse is through the building's elevator or the fire escape stairs, both of which are on camera.
Oh, hang on.
And that still wouldn't get you past his front door, which is also on camera.
I think that said both which are on camera.
Both of.
Both of which. I'm just making a note of that so I can remember it for later in case I can submit that.
No one besides the two of them was there that day. One sec.
You should stay because you're at
Oh yeah, I'm
blackjack.
at 21, lol.
You know what's funny is this. You know what mechanic this is correcting from the original series that this is inspired by? This is logic chess. This is logic
Oh,
chess.
you're right, yeah.
But it's not blocked off pointlessly by different hallways. It's just accumulating a set number of stuff that you can do in any order, which was my fucking issue with logic chess, was that it was like, well, you have to say it this way, and it was just like pointlessly and needlessly obstacle filled.
Yeah.
So yet again,
We out here winning. Thank you for enlightening the court about this point, Detective.
What point?
Well, I think it's strange, don't you, Detective? I mean, how could he have possibly poisoned himself without first procuring some poison? A blackjack!
What do you mean procure?
Where did it come from, Detective? The poison that you're so sure was dissolved in his drink. It can't have come from thin air, you understand. It had to have been in another container at some point.
Whatever it was in before, it probably evaporated.
All of it? It only took a small droplet to kill.
Your Honor, are you going to ask them to keep it civil?
In a minute, sure.
There wasn't any pill bottle in his bathroom or syringe in his pocket containing this apparently deadly substance. So how did he get it? What did he keep it in? The police want to claim that Dr. Asher committed suicide because they've established that his guest never had an opportunity to kill him. But they failed to prove that the victim had the means to kill himself.
Then I guess I'll be the one to move things along. The Delta didn't come out of thin air, Counselor. And it didn't come from any syringe either. Dr. Asher was able to drip the poison right into his cup, straight from the source.
Shit. That's way too specific to be a bluff.
Allow me to submit into evidence Exhibit G. A piece of machinery found in Dr. Asher's laboratory.
Oh, hey, they're gonna actually just give this theory themselves instead of us having to be like, but where could it have come from?
Oh.
Wow.
Sold under the product name Nanofacturer.
Oh, I know this one. It's used in delicate scientific work to produce nanomachines, chemical compounds, and polymers.
That's the same machine I saw when Dawes gave me a tour of the production floor.
Very good, Your Honor. It's a valuable tool in any scientific laboratory, and Dr. Asher was well acquainted with its use. As a matter of fact, he had a number of presets coded into it.
Even the android can see where this is going.
With just a few taps, I could reproduce any number of specific substances for his research. Or any other chemical his heart desired, really.
You think Randock Mechanics would allow their product to be used to produce illicit chemicals?
Using the nanofacturer to make unlicensed drugs does go against their terms and conditions, so Dr. Asher's warranty is certainly null and void. But they can't hard-code their machines to prevent the production of a drug that hasn't been invented yet.
That's...
Dr. Asher died when his respiratory system failed because of a depressant overdose. For him, it would have been peaceful, like falling asleep. You see, he didn't need to commission a synthetic drug from some street vendor or order an exotic poison from overseas. He could produce Delta at any time, in the comfort of his own home. A quick and painless death, readily available in under a minute at the touch of a button. Specifically, preset number 19.
Damn. I thought I actually had something for a moment there, but I was playing into Emma's hand the entire time. The autopsy report has been updated! Just wanted to check. They gave us... Okay, so they've updated presets on David's model. His history exists for compound identical to the substance found in his bloodstream. Okay, so they have verified that, I assume.
Well, geez, Emma, you could have told us earlier.
Seems like we're done with this witness, Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am. But before we move on, perhaps we should take a moment and put together a timeline of events as we know them. Can we do it through a comic book, a funny little comic book?
Quiet Jello again. Not as quiet.
I literally didn't touch it. I literally haven't fucking touched it.
That's strange.
You need to tell me when I sound
Okay,
normal. How about here?
Whoa.
Now, you had it for a second, now it's too loud.
Okay. How about now?
Now you sound fine. Yeah,
That's good.
definitely
That's
keep
good.
it right there.
Okay, give me a
Fucking duct tape that fucking thing down.
I didn't move it. Okay, let's try that. Not for me, of course, just in case someone else might need it.
Simple enough. We know that Dr. Asher left the parlor and went down to the basement at 7:36 p.m. That's where he got the whiskey. And the cups they drank from. The cameras show him returning to the parlor to drink with the witness at 7:40 p.m. And of course, we know that he fell ill and passed away shortly thereafter. Any objections so far, Counselor?
Let's see. What do each of these say? She has the timeline correct so far. She made a mistake with the
No,
timeline.
that sounds right.
That sounds
sounds
right
right
to me. I just want to real quickly. Left the parlor, and that's where he got the whiskey, the cups they drank from, so far as we know, yeah. Returning to the basement, yeah, that sounds right. Not at this time, no. The timeline you've described is accurate, as we know it.
As you say. With this latest piece of evidence, we know that Asher could have easily dispensed the poison directly into his cup by placing it inside the nanofacturer, activating the preset, and simply waiting 2 minutes.
Here's where they're losing me on this, though, which is... Isn't his nanofacturer just in, like, the main part of his office? It's not in his basement, so wouldn't he have to be on camera doing that? That's, like, too obvious
No,
of a
isn't it-
contradiction for them to have not...
Isn't it in the basement? We didn't walk around or investigate the main office.
No, yeah, we did. In his upstairs part, like, when we went upstairs temporarily and left Jess down in the basement is when we saw his, and it was up there with, like, his computer and shit.
I don't remember
I don't
that.
remember that.
I remember there was one in the factory.
There is a
where we got-
manufacturer in both the office and his basement. It's not in the basement, it's in his... All right, Chad is split 50-50. Well,
Okay.
okay. That's how I remembered it, but I'll keep going for now.
It's in the base. I think you're conflating it with one of the other manufacturers in a public visible spot. I think you're mixing it up.
No, I don't remember there being two is all. I could be wrong. I just remembered the one that was in the factory when we went to register Sarah. I could just be forgetting about the other one. I don't know.
We'll forge ahead for now.
Easily accomplished during the 4 minutes he spent off camera from 7:36 to 7:40.
Yeah, there's like 8 different opinions in chat that it was in the basement, that I was right, or that I was right, but that area is also off camera. But given that we're not immediately saying when the fuck did he do this, I assume this is not meant to be a contradiction. So I will keep
Wouldn't
going.
you say?
Oop, there we go.
Ooh, a complete timeline of events.
This lady looks like a evolution of Oz's VTuber, to be honest. If you throw the right stone on him.
He had the means. He had the only opportunity. Seems like we're about ready to wrap up here. No?
I want to. Does it cycle that? Yeah, it just keeps doing that if you sit on this. Swing. Hey, where are we on that loading bar of yours, Sarah?
Ad and I
Yeah, I had a feeling you'd say that.
Well, counselor, are we done here?
I mean, we can't be done here, so. Feels like we're missing at least one biggie here, folks. Namely, motive.
Oh, right. I knew that. I wasn't getting excited to finish early or anything.
This is a preliminary hearing, counselor. Our focus should be on the evidence, so...
Just feels like an awful waste of taxpayer dollars to get us all down here for debate and not get to the truth of the matter, you know?
So, I was hoping we wouldn't have to go through this next part.
What are you talking about?
Your Honor, if it pleases the court.
Ooh, new evidence. Gimme.
This is a recording of a phone conversation dated at 6:30 p.m. last night between the deceased and a man he was in a relationship with. A man named Isaac Porter.
Porter and David's breakup call. If Emma wants to present it here, now, then the content must be... relevance, Your Honor?
Yeah, that... What bearing does this recording have on the case at hand?
It establishes what emotional state the deceased was in on the day he died.
I like these little flip pans.
Cool. Begin playback.
Hello?
I'm killing myself. Boop.
All right, that was deep faked.
that's the entire call.
Always so soft-spoken.
Isaac, you there? Yeah. Yeah, I'm here. What's wrong? Don't know. Guess I wasn't expecting you to pick up. Why not? Did you mean to call me? Yeah, I did. You can ask me how I've been.
David's so pretty.
Yeah, how have you been? Christ, David. What's the matter? Whatever it is, whatever I did, I'm sorry. Whatever you did. That's all right, man. I'm sure you are sorry. I just don't want any more apologies from you. I'm so... Okay. And I don't think I want anything from you anymore, David. What do you mean? I shouldn't have done this. This was unnecessary. My bad, man, for not taking the hints. With you, it's always better left unsaid, right? More efficient that way, so you can keep working. Isaac, if I've been distant with you, or... No, you haven't been distant with me, or cold with me, or anything with me for a while now. Isaac, just forget it, man. Forget I called. Forget it all, yeah? Let's just forget we were ever anything but strangers. That's all we are now, anyway. Isaac, recently I've been distracted, I know. No, don't worry about it. Really, we're good. Oh. Okay. So do you need anything, or should I?
Where did you even get this?
All of Dr. Asher's incoming and outgoing phone calls were recorded by the building's penumbra system. And the recording continued for several seconds after the call was ended for quality assurance.
Oh, I hate that.
Remind me to check the terms and conditions on my next phone bill.
Shall we hear the rest?
Gotta be the last time. The last time I let someone. The last time.
Father,
Might just be a call, but it makes for pretty damning evidence at this point in the discussion. Emma's got her means, opportunity, and motive all lined up. So why is she still looking at me like that?
That was depressing. Can we finish up without anything else that horrible?
Emma's never been apologetic in victory. So does that mean this is just pity?
Less than 2 hours before David Asher died, Isaac Porter ended their relationship over the phone. The court can make a reasonable assumption about what kind of mental state Dr. Asher was in last night.
Oh, that was a bad move, Miss Rockford.
Then, if the people have nothing further to add...
Been feeling off my game all day. Caught between corporate inbreeders and ant-brained protesters and... But pitying me? Here and now? That's all it takes to get my blood properly boiling.
It's about time for...
Me to call my first witness, no?
You want to keep going? After that?
What are you doing, counselor?
Just calling the ultimate, silver bullet, rock solid, slam dunk witness a girl could ask for.
Is here good? Does it matter where I put my hands?
No, we have to kill you now.
Oh, okay.
Miss Starling, thank you for coming here today.
Of course, whatever I can do.
What is your relation to the deceased?
I was his executive assistant at Noble Electronics. I would arrange his meetings, coordinate communications between him and other departments, that sort of thing.
Ultimate silver bullet.
Starling's the only play I have right now. The only stalling tool I have left. For now, I should just focus on getting as much information from her as possible. Whether or not it's useful, it'll at least buy me some time. While Jess was being sworn in, Sarah mentioned that the hard drive's about 60% decrypted. Considering the rate Sarah's gone at so far, there's maybe another hour left. I might be able to stall that long, if I talk real slow. I'd like to ask you a few questions about this. Please answer them to the best of your ability.
Wow, that was impressive, actually.
Ooh.
Right.
That's how, this is the reveal that Morgan's an android. Dr. Asher was a well-known public figure, but was he well regarded professionally?
Of course. Dr. Asher's work set the bar for the entire automated dependent world.
Oh my god, Purple is the best. Is her name just Stalling? Jess Starling?
Holy shit.
That's pretty sly. I like it.
Really doing everything Ace Attorney's ever done, but better.
Wow.
Yeah, chat. I do so hate to waste.
Stay focused, Spearmint. You say you coordinated his communications. Were there ever threats? Did people ever express an intent to harm him?
Objection. Calls for speculation.
Intent?
Oh, sorry, I reverse muted myself. Lamau. I'm feeling like that's gonna be, sustained.
Did anyone ever threaten him?
There were times when he was the focus of negative attention.
How so?
Dr. Asher was a favorite subject of many conspiracy theorists. With all his contributions to the field, it was easy for them to make claims about his influence. They'd say that his work was plagiarized or that he was hiding illegal subcommands in the technology helped develop.
And people would contact him about these conspiracy theories.
Relevance.
Whether or not people wanted to kill him?
Well,
Withdrawn.
That's right, bitch. Miss Starling!
People would attempt to contact him, yes, but their messages were always too vague for the police to take action on. They would say that he belonged in jail, or that he couldn't avoid the truth, or that someone should be do something to shut him up.
Did they ever talk about hurting him?
Yes, but I always turn those messages straight over to the police.
yeah, I'm seeing that on record.
Yeesh. Who writes this stuff?
All those cases have long since been resolved, Your Honor, and none of these parties involved had contact with David Asher in years. The police take harassment very seriously.
Huh?
Something you want to add, Counselor?
Just clearing my throat. May I continue? You worked with Dr. Asher for many years. Did you have a relationship outside of work? Did you ever talk about anything besides professional concerns?
Sure, we've gone out to dinner or met on the weekends. I think he liked to pick my brain since he needed relationship advice a lot.
God. He was cheating on Morgan with Isaac, and he was cheating on Morgan with Jess as programmer Rubber Duck.
Even if he didn't realize that was what he was asking for. I'd like to think that he knew he could talk to me, but
Did he ever talk to you, or to your knowledge, anyone else, about hurting himself?
God, no, never.
Do you know of any history he might have had with mental illness, depression, anxiety?
No.
I wish they'd invented like a third for the trio.
Depression,
like,
anxiety, brain
Squamble.
engorgement.
Sklomglick. No, he never had that.
Psychic chlamydia. So when he
Unusually has no relation to non-psychic chlamydia.
So when you heard the people argue that Dr. Asher had done this to himself,
I was shocked. I couldn't believe it.
you're saying that you can't believe.
Objection.
On what grounds?
Asked and answered, stalling. And also, the people have documents that would be of interest to the court in this manner.
God, it's so nice to see a game like this with actual lawyer back and forth. Juicy. And what matter specifically are you referring to?
The deceased mental health history.
Emma wouldn't be speaking up if she didn't have something real. So what the hell is this about?
We have private correspondences that describe...
If they're private, then they should not have been obtained by the people without his permission.
He can't give permission if he's already dead, and we're well within our rights to obtain evidence as it pertains to his crime.
Convincing.
Damn. I didn't honestly expect to stop her from admitting her evidence into the record, but I was hoping to at least slow her. Where are you on that footage?
77%,
It's not bad.
approximately.
I need to buy whatever time I can, however I can. Even if that means running out the clock as a punching bag.
I have here messages between Dr. Asher and a psychiatrist he was meeting with and speaking to for the past year, along with paperwork detailing how this treatment was covered under his Platinum plan.
I actually don't know what real-world law in modern day is about breaching doctor-patient confidentiality with, like, a therapist or psychiatrist when you're trying
Luckily,
to...
this is 60
But I
years
mean,
in
yeah,
the
luckily
future.
it's 2086 and privacy doesn't exist, so I just assume they're allowed to do that. Platinum.
Yeah, he didn't have that level.
No, he was like surprisingly low. If I remember, like he was
Yeah.
like 4 or something like that instead
I
of
thought
3.
it was Platinum 3. Like Platinum is the plan, and then the
Use to
levels
schedule
were
and pay for
numbered.
Caduceus.
Yeah,
Is
wasn't
that
it?
updated from the one we already had, I guess?
What was in his contract? Or Yeah, he had Executive 4.
Oh, okay.
So does that mean Caduceus Platinum? So I guess this was private insurance, or something. Maybe they'll go into it explicitly.
I'm sure
Yeah.
they'll elaborate.
Yeah. I don't intend to air all of Dr. Asher's secrets here in the court,
Oh. Okay, I guess.
but I am prepared to read excerpts from messages and transcripts from phone calls, which, when put together, paint a clear picture of the kind of stress David Asher was experiencing, and the dark thoughts he was struggling with.
Transcripts of his phone calls.
I'll admit them into evidence, assuming there are no objections.
Something strange about the evidence.
He
I don't know.
didn't have a platinum plan, right?
Yeah,
That's
but
all-
I'm not sure if that's the piece of contention right now. Something strange about this evidence.
There's something
no-
strange about the evidence. I don't know.
I don't know. That is strange.
I think I'll raise.
You're supposed to be stalling anyway. So.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
try. I'll gladly object on the grounds of foundation. Where did you say you got this?
It was retrieved from his digital records. There's no reason to doubt its authenticity.
Even if I were to point out that David had an executive level 4 plan,
Yeah.
not a platinum plan. Good job, people who wanted to raise.
Who's wiggling with their mic?
I think it's
Oh
Oz.
shit! I'm so sorry. I thought it was muted this whole time. Very
Nope.
sorry.
What?
Really?
Really?
Yes, really, it's all there in the record.
This is easily explained. David had an executive plan that Noble managed for him, and he was also seeing the psychiatrist both in person and over the phone. Your own witness has attested that he dealt with stalkers and was worried for his privacy. So it's easy enough to reason that he had a separate insurance policy he paid for on his own, even if only to keep one thing out of Noble's grasp.
Sure, easy enough to make that assumption, but that doesn't make it correct. David used a separate insurance to hide the psychiatrist from Noble's spying? No, he was smarter than that. Worth a lot of zeros. All building.
All building calls.
Yeah, the calls were
it's-
recorded.
Oh,
It would have
yeah.
had.
Oh, yeah.
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 Yeah, it's definitely that one.
Okay.
You could probably
Yeah,
raise a couple
let's
kids.
fucking go!
Oh, let's go. We're sure.
Oh.
David may very well have wanted a private psychiatrist, someone who didn't work for Noble, who'd have his best interests at heart. But if so, he wouldn't have contacted them over the phone. Not when he knew all his phone calls were being recorded.
Nice.
That's
David Asher was well versed in having every aspect of his life overanalyzed by data-hungry parasites. You really think he would try and hide his mental health problems from them with a second insurance policy?
apparently yes, since I'm standing here with evidence that shows exactly that.
Does it, though?
Pardon me?
Yeah, like, what exactly are you suggesting, counselor?
Still not done decrypting?
Well, it's difficult
Right.
to.
What the hell?
Ice Age 3 complete, beginning 4.
Hang on. I need to compare and contrast. Downloading Happy Feet. Might as well swing for the fences at this point. I'm not trying to muddle the issue or confuse the court, Your Honor. And I would never make outlandish, unsubstantiated claims just for the sake of causing a drama.
What are you?
I'm merely concerned that D.A. Rockford has been an unwitting pawn in an act of corporate espionage.
Oh,
What?
If the markets were to open Monday with people believing that David Asher, the man who programmed the brain of every noble android, was battling mental health issues for the last several months,
Objection, mischaracterization, foundation, all of the rest? There are no corporate spies in this courtroom, counselor, and there are no boogeymen hiding under the bench.
8 people stand up and leave.
yeah. Oh, sorry, I was looking for my.
Excuse me.
oh, thank God.
David Asher.
I'm
Go ahead.
shocked how much of my voice is carrying down to Amy through a door and 2 floors.
No.
It's like clear as day.
You gotta
I mean, it might be Amy's
might have to
threshold
go-
on her mic.
You might have to go and push. That might be why, because we changed your mic settings recently.
Yeah.
So that you wouldn't get cut off.
There's no winning for little old Yale.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
I think you might have to push to talk instead of just muting, unmuting.
David Asher was a once-in-a-generation intellect and an extremely valuable human asset to his employers. And his employers' many enemies would do whatever it takes to destroy his credibility now that he can't defend himself.
Okay, I was just making sure it was working.
Yep.
Yep.
And he was also your personal. You shouldn't even be here arguing this case in the first place, counselor. Now you're trying to call the police's evidence gathering into question, all because you can't admit that for the past several months your friend has been seeing a psychiatrist every Monday and you didn't know.
That is...
Sorry, but like, did you still need me up here?
The witness will refrain from interrupting when girls are fighting.
That right there should be the fucking box art.
Yes, ma'am.
With how my luck's been so far, Sarah's progress bar is probably moving backwards right about now.
40%.
Yeah. Deleting. And Emma's
Aw.
patience is wearing thin. This could be my last shot to create any kind of reasonable doubt. I'd be happy to wrap up my questioning if the court will allow.
That seems cool with me.
And my evidence, Your Honor, will it be entered into the record?
I'd like to hear a bit more testimony before deciding.
That's fine, Your Honor. As you were, counselor.
At this stage of the game, with the score where it's at, I can probably only ask one more question. Better make it
videotape.
count. Miss Starling, we're all here trying to figure out what happened to Dr. Asher. Tell me, when did you last... Let's see. See him as a very mundane question. I don't hear from him. See his work, maybe, if they're trying to...
His work could that might like lead to like Sarah and other stuff if you were trying to stall. Like, what's our goal here? Literally just stalling for time.
So because this is the format of the typical like investigation questions, I feel like these are safe to go through.
I mean, they just said I can probably only ask one question.
one more
I feel like I'm
question.
gonna
Oh,
get...
did they?
I feel like I'm gonna
Okay.
get shot in the face if I pick something that doesn't lead to anything interesting. See
You
his
could
work
always say-
sounds like the most interesting of these. I don't know exactly what we're driving at, but in fairness, neither does Morgan, so I'm just RPing. When was the last time that you...
Problem, counselor?
Only get one chance.
Okay.
Oh. All right. Just doing a vocal exercise.
Take all the time you
Stacy
need.
Dennings! You're an
Stacy
asshole,
Dennings.
Stacy!
Oh, what a sweetheart. Unlike me.
Duly noted. Okay, okay, I'm gonna read this preamble again. We're all here trying to figure out what happened to Dr. Asher. Tell me, when did you last... I mean, see him and meet him at HQ are kind of similar?
Well, if he had to meet him at HQ, then that probably would have been the last time that he was able to make the fucking juice or whatever.
Maybe?
I'm leaning on hearing from him.
Yeah.
It feels like out of these three, hear from him is the one, and these two are similar enough that it's hard to see why you would have to pick one over the other. I'm gonna try hear from him. When was the last time you spoke with Dr. Asher, Miss Starling?
Well, that's pretty easy to figure out. Let me just... Yeah, it was last night at 6:57 p.m. We texted back and forth.
And, oh,
And did we feel that's relevant, Your Honor?
relevant.
I mean, yeah,
yeah, we have to. The texting makes a big difference. It could very well be the single most important piece of evidence in this whole trial.
What?
I just got chills. Don't know why though.
Must be a coolant leak. The defense doesn't know what they're talking about.
On the contrary, these texts are a vital piece of evidence that change the timeline of events as we know them. Starling's texts. David asked her. Oh yeah, because he was he was scheduling a meeting for later. So if he was already planning to kill himself, that wouldn't make sense.
Yeah, why would he talk about a meeting?
Yeah.
That was like the first thing she told us in this case.
Dang.
We know what happened to David last night, generally speaking. But the order of events is critical. Especially if Emma wants to make claims about David's state of mind. Also, wait, that's at 6:57, was it?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, just
And then Isaac's call.
Okay, yeah, so it was after the call. So if she's saying the call inspired him to kill himself, then that would have been strange. Ooh, okay, we're making we're playing the comic game. You can pick a card, back up, and place another slot, or drop it outside any slot to return to your hand. Fill all the slots to submit your answer. Okay. All right. Well, luckily this just straight up says when it happened. We know that was afterward. Drank with David before he died. Didn't say and then the Starling's texts are before this, so it's this.
No,
No.
Texts are after.
Oh, I'm fucking stupid. Yep. Correct.
That was the one important piece of evidence.
No. No. Okay.
I think you had everything right.
It's
you
okay.
needed to
I
swap
was just
text
backing
and-
out so that I could crank this up because I forgot to do it the first time.
Okay.
Artemis's call is really good.
Okay.
Yes, that's it. Thanks to Miss Starling, we've now got a much clearer picture of the night's events. We know that Isaac Porter and David Asher broke up at 6:30 p.m.
And I was rooting for them so hard.
And we know that David messaged his assistant, Miss Starling, at 6:57 p.m. David is on camera with the witness from 7:30 to 8 p.m., and he was declared dead not long after.
The people don't object to that timeline of events. But we do question Counselor Morgan's reason for belaboring it.
One last question, Miss Starling.
Yeah.
What was the nature of your conversation with Dr. Asher?
Well, actually, we talked about you. And how he wanted you to have his android. That android there. Putting his affairs in order, I guess.
It might appear that way. Can you specify what his instructions were exactly? How did he want this done?
Well, he wanted me to bring you to his penthouse and help you get set up as the android's new owner.
Yes, Miss Starling, but when did he want this to happen?
Well, he said it was pretty urgent, and so I should do it first thing Tuesday morning.
Tuesday?
First thing Tuesday morning. David Asher didn't like doing anything on Mondays. And was he going to be in attendance?
Well, actually, yes, he said he would work from home to help us. No way he intended for us to have that much trouble getting to... Oh.
To summarize, then, half an hour after he had already had his breakup, and half an hour before his guest had arrived, he was planning an appointment that would require his presence with you for next Tuesday.
That's right, he was.
Not something you would think to do if you were planning on dying that very night.
Yeah, you're right.
That's...
Your Honor, if David Asher was preparing for the week ahead, a mere hour before he passed away, don't you think the people's assumptions about his mental state ought to be re-examined?
That's...
Your logic is sound. Do the people have a rebuttal?
If the court will just allow a moment.
Sounds like an opening to me.
Pulled out a gun and killed her.
If we assume that Dr. Asher was not suicidal and therefore did not kill himself, we must then ask ourselves, who else had the means, motive, and opportunity to take his life? Until now, we've taken for granted this idea that the Delta must have come from his manufacturer, from inside the house.
Adonai.
Not right now. But even if that's true, which it may not be, that doesn't mean that he was the one who used the nanofacturer.
Adonai!
Would you allow me one moment to confer, Your Honor?
Sure. Why not throw away your momentum?
I'm in the middle of something, Sarah. I can't afford to let Rockford...
I've gained access to the hard drive's files.
What? Seriously?
As I said, progress with this type of encryption is exponential. It can be difficult to estimate.
Right, okay. Do you have the footage from last night?
I have the file.
Have you watched it?
I thought you'd want to know right away.
Suppose it doesn't matter. Either this has our silver bullet and we've got a case, or it doesn't and everything falls apart.
Seems quite risky.
All in.
It's the least risky path to victory we have, seeing how it's the only path to victory we have. Screw it. Upload it to the court computer.
Yes, Adonai.
It is a virus.
I'm dying. I'm dying. I'm dying. I'm dying.
I did it. Me.
Head spins around 360 multiple times.
Thank you for your patience, Your Honor.
Your Honor.
And
I'm getting a pretty hefty chunk of video data for breakfast.
You're
I'm glad
submitting
Will's
secu-
enjoying.
I'm having a great time.
Yeah, me too, but I'm stuck on mute.
Oh no! YAM is an acronym for you are mute.
You're submitting security footage into evidence? New security footage?
The police corroborated the witness's testimony using the house's cameras. Security cameras installed by Noble as part of the Penumbra system that showed the parlor, the kitchen, but not the basement. During the course of my investigation, I uncovered a hidden security circuit buried in the deceased's own home system.
You... what?
The people say that the Delta must have been in Dr. Asher's cup, because there's no other way for him to have ingested it. But we never saw him, or anyone else, put anything in his cup on camera.
Because he must have poisoned his own drink off camera.
Exactly.
What?
That's the only possible explanation, that he added the Delta to his drink off camera. He placed his cup inside the nanofacturer, activated it, waited 2 minutes, and then walked upstairs to his death. But I'm about to present to the court footage retrieved from his basement. Footage that will show that by the time he retrieved the cups in the basement, it was already past 7:38, meaning he didn't have the opportunity to poison himself.
One clip of footage will prove all of that.
Well, if it doesn't, I'm completely screwed.
It would be so fucking funny if it's just literally David. doing
Exactly what it's like.
Emma
Well,
posited.
and that's the end of the case.
David,
You really fucked me on this one, buddy.
Like Outlaw being like, preset 19. And looked at the camera. The poison.
And then it's the poison, and Morgan goes, "Well, at least it can't get any worse." My friend Morgan is a serial killer.
Here is all of the evidence I've been procuring over time. It's like, God, you really used those 2 minutes, David.
Let's be honest, that would be so fucking
That'd be
awesome.
But it's not like I can lose a preliminary hearing extra hard. Anything other than a royal flush here means I'm bust. Those are I'm mixing metaphors now. It's full speed ahead. Better to be the Joker who dances. Cards.
You can go bust in poker. It just means you're.
Oh, no, yeah, that's true. That's true. It's not strictly a blackjack term.
Fake fan.
I'm sorry. I'd like to submit
Oh,
into
that's-
evidence Aram being a fucking idiot.
Her like little Matrix motherboard thing going up the inside.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
It's so cool. I love this chick.
The data has been entered into the court record.
A court record. I
It feels stupid not to Valley. Girl
No,
her
yeah,
at this
it's
point,
the
to be
correct.
honest.
It's just really funny.
Uploading.
Uploading, maybe? Sarah, show us when Dr. Asher entered the basement.
Yes, Adonai. I'll search for it now. Here.
On screen. That's the bar. And the timestamp is 7:36. There, David's grabbing the bottle of Rose River and leaving.
At 7:37, just under the wire, as it were.
Is that it then? Came this far? Just... Wait. Did he have the cups with him?
Is there sound?
None at all.
Keep going. If he had to go back to get the cups...
Counselor,
Ooh, yeah, that's what I was hoping.
what's that android doing on camera?
I
It's at the bar. The android gave him the cups.
Shit. Shit!
That machine never stepped on camera upstairs, never once. We don't know its whereabouts the day of its death. It could have poisoned the cup whenever it wanted.
Shit. Shit.
What is this? I don't understand.
Your Honor, have the courtroom cleared.
Understood.
Please, someone. I don't know what's going on.
Sarah, you need to shut down.
Please tell me what I'm looking at. I don't remember any of that.
Do we have callers available?
Sarah, shut down now.
Adonai, please tell me what
That's an order.
I
Is it off?
Yeah, it's off. I've seen this before. It won't do anything until I reactivate it.
What do you mean you've seen this before?
When I used it to kill people.
I mean,
Go off, slay, girl.
I do often.
Awesome. Court adjourned.
Bonk bonk.
We don't know that. Soon I'll get to speak.
Sorry.
We don't know that. We don't know anything about this thing anymore.
That's...
Your Honor, in light of this most recent evidence, the people would like to withdraw their charges against Dr. Asher and end this preliminary hearing. It has been made abundantly clear that David Asher did not commit suicide.
Very well. The charges are withdrawn and the defendant is free to go. Well, as free as he can be in the afterlife. This case is dismissed. Gavel, gavel. Congratulations, Counselor Morgan.
Yay. Chalk up another victory for Morgan Esquire.
God, that was a great yay.
Now all I have to do is deal with the shitstorm of the decade.
Wow, they even got a good reason for people to accuse the cute anime sidekick of a murder instead of just starting with it and then going, obviously it wasn't this person.
Well, I managed to prove that David didn't kill himself. And in the process, I proved that his android did. I proved that the android that's been walking around with me all day is capable of murder. A killer robot. A true unbound AI with military-grade specs and at least one death to its name already. So much for avoiding the public eye.
Thank you for coming here on such short notice, Judge Barrows.
Oh, shit, who did we have as this? Maybe we should just make it, Will, now that your other character's gone for a while.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh. As if I'm doing you some kind of favor. I didn't realize I had any choice in the matter. This isn't some bad joke, is it, Ms. Rockford?
I'm afraid not, Your Honor.
You know, I like the adjutants. I always have.
I'm not racist, but...
They deal with the criminal trial so that bookish, quiet, contemplative people like me can spend all day typing up arguments for obscure legal treatises. That's what I like to do. I don't like coming down here and dealing with all this.
You go,
Hev-
girl.
Thank you. This is why I like them.
Wait, hang on.
Heavy-handedness.
I can add to this. Go, girl. You're awesome.
Thank you.
Won't someone toiling away under the police state think of the poor bureaucrats?
And I certainly don't like making rulings on anything as spicy as AI.
She can barely bring herself to say it.
And you, Counselor Morgan, you're the one it's registered to?
That's correct, Your Honor. Please, call me the Heartbreak Killer.
So, what did it do, exactly? Torture an animal, shut down a hospital, crash a coin market?
We have it on camera poisoning a man, killing its creator.
You mean Dr. Asher? That is... We can't hope to keep this quiet for very long. All we can do is try to wrap it up quickly. Let's make haste. Adjutant, do you have the case number?
Case ID is 241277A, docket number YT9843188282.
Oh, thank you. Can you repeat that?
YT9843188282.
I think I lost you after the first 8.
This
I
is
have
what
it.
placing you.
I have it copied here.
And what are the security procedures for an incident of this nature?
A data quarantine is to be established around any networks the subject was exposed to for more than 66 seconds. All offending hardware is to be destroyed immediately through incineration at a minimum temperature of 3422 Celsius for 30 minutes. Jesus.
Sorry, Spearmint. There's nothing to be done, no debate to be had. This isn't even a decision. Sorry, Sarah, not Spearmint. David gave you that name. I should at least make the effort to use it.
That sounds very hot. Do we have furnaces that get that hot?
Of course! There are a number of industrial furnaces within the city limits that I could recommend.
Sorry? Why should I be sorry anyway? I fulfilled the request. Favor repaid. I don't know Sarah anything. Especially not if it killed my friend.
Right, Morgan?
I'm sorry.
I was just saying how grateful I am that we have the procedures for this kind of thing all laid out already.
Yep, keep things nice and simple.
It can feel somewhat severe going through these steps so quickly, but...
But nothing, Your Honor. Artificial intelligence is perhaps the greatest threat to human civilization and the sanctity of life there's ever been. Any piece of software, big or small, no matter the vessel, if it can violate the tenets it was programmed with, it has the potential to cripple our nation in a matter of moments.
Yes, couldn't have said it better myself.
Straight from the textbook, almost.
Well, I mean it.
You wouldn't want some red-haired AI going around killing people for fun.
Eyes crackle. Bzz. Monsters like that don't belong in this world. Symphony of the Night reference at your...
Smash glass, smash glass.
They should never have been born in the first place. Destroying them is a kindness. And if anyone...
What a funny reason for her to be on Sarah's side here.
And if anyone's to blame, it's...
No one's blaming you, Counselor. You couldn't have known you were in possession of an AI.
I'm talking too much. Probably just tired. It's been a long day, and I've had a lot of thoughts. Sorry, Sarah. Whatever you are. You were just born wrong. Not your fault, necessarily. If it were up to me, you'd get points for trying. Trying to be... something more. Trying to be something at all. Or anything other than what you are. It was stupid, of course. And futile.
I like this.
Pointless. Spending hours in front of a TV, or laying in bed staring at your phone. Watching stupid movies, trying to paper-mache an ill-fitted mask of humanity out of the scraps you could tear out of magazines. Practicing expressions and memorizing lines and trying to get something to take root and grow despite knowing it'd have nothing to feed on. Stupid.
Morgan?
What was that, counselor?
I said objection.
And what are you objecting to?
What are you doing, Morgan?
I'm a defense attorney. This is what I do.
I understand that you've been through a lot these past few hours, counselor, but there's nothing to defend.
On the contrary, Your Honor. I have to defend myself.
Pardon?
You say that this android, Sarah, is an AI because it broke its tenets.
Obviously.
And you believe it broke its tenets because of this newly discovered footage that appears to show it committing murder via poison.
All true, and no laws broken on your part.
Here it comes. Never thought I'd be incriminating myself in the courtroom just to make a point. Don't you dare try and entrap me on this. She's saying we're not guilty of any crime. Let's see.
The robot is worth a shitload?
Oh, wait. Is it because technically we already owned Sarah when she killed him? I can't remember. Hang on. What exactly does Sarah's this say? No, that just talks about how much money she's worth. Okay, so it's not that.
Can you skim through the 4 things again? What's the second one?
Found knocked over, drank by David, tested inconclusive. Okay, Sarah's deed. Oh, that's a different one. Okay, hang on. Sarah's deed.
I don't like this system of evidence. I find the phone really bad. But not dated.
Effective immediately. He had already given ownership to us before he died, but not dated, which I guess is going to become a point of contention. But I think this is what we're going for. Sarah's deed.
One.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple, actually. If the state is making the claim that Sarah is an AI, they're accusing me of committing a felony. Because I'm the legal owner of that android.
The hell are you doing?
And if the state wants to charge me with owning an AI, I will not take that lying down. I know my rights.
Counselor, your argument is...
Self-defeating. Listen to yourself, counselor. You claim that Sarah is just an android, a product that will be obsolete within a year. But you've only known it for a few hours. You've only owned it for a matter of minutes. And yet, here you are risking a felony charge to save it from being demolished.
Because you're wrong.
And I know you wouldn't care. Not unless this android was something special.
Look at us. Me arguing that I'm guilty, and Emma arguing that I'm a softie. Be funny if it wasn't so fun. You think there's no reason I'd want to save this android from destruction other than feelings of personal attachment? This thing's worth a shit fucking zillion million dollars.
God, that's funny.
I can think of at least one reason why I don't want you to turn Sarah into slag. One very convincing reason. Or very convincing number.
What is that?
That number is Sarah's estimated financial value on the collector's market.
You've gotta be...
I got it from an insurance evaluation algorithm. They're designed to lowball you.
That does seem like a reasonable incentive for you to want to keep your android intact.
It's a free country, Your Honor. I have a right to defend myself. And we have a free market, so I have a responsibility to defend my financial interests. Morgan stonks are on the rise, baby.
Your Honor, a trial like this would be...
I'm not going to let you turn this courtroom into a circus, Morgan. You can't spend the next half-decade bringing in expert after expert to testify on the philosophical distinctions between AIs and ads, spiraling into appeal after appeal, all while the media... This machine appears to have willfully killed a man. The public needs answers now.
Of course, Your Honor. I have neither the desire nor the resources to get into a drawn-out battle with the state over what constitutes an illegal machine intellect.
So,
The state says my android, my property, killed a man in violation of its tenets, so they want me to take my property and destroy it. I'll prove that my machine didn't harm anyone, so the state will have no reason to suspect it's an AI, and I'll get to keep my property. Unlawful seizure? Thwarted.
don't be cute. I feel a stomach ulcer coming on. Fine. You'll have your day in court, but it'll be one day. Tomorrow. Prove that this machine didn't kill Dr. Asher. No, prove that it couldn't have killed him. Anything less than absolute proof, and I'll have the damn thing obliterated. And you'll also be looking at a very real sentencing for the public unrest you'll have enabled.
Yes, Your Honor.
D.A. Rockford, what I'm asking of you is just as heavy. Find the truth by the end of tomorrow. We can't settle for anything else. Win or lose, there could be no doubts about the outcome of this case.
Yes, Your Honor.
And now, I need to go lie down.
Can I come?
You can power down. It falls off the balcony.
Morgan,
What the fuck was that?
I misjudged you.
At what point?
Whenever I wrote you off as a small-time defense attorney just trying to tread water.
That is so sweet of you to say, Emma.
There's layers to you. You've got backbone. Teeth, even.
You're gonna make me blush.
People talk about your kind like you're boxing against the state, fighting the man. But most defense attorneys wouldn't know a cyberpunk if they walked up to them in the street and shot him. Meanwhile, you've just signed up to do 15 rounds challenging the state's authority. Why?
Not sure exactly.
For David?
Yeah, probably. Probably just me being sentimental. But if I had to pick a more lofty reason, well, I think it's all the moralizing. People can be evil. They can choose to do evil things for evil reasons. And if you want to execute them for that, you'll hear no complaint from me. But animals can't be evil. Information can't be evil. Ideas can't be evil. Guess I'm not convinced AI can be evil either. Whatever else I get up to. I don't want to stand with the book burners of the world.
You're more high-minded than I realized. You sure you're in the right line of work?
Can't see myself doing anything else. Also, can we stand closer if we're going to have this conversation? This feels...
Also, are we on a boat?
Can we move off of the waterbed floor in that place?
Good luck, Morgan. There's book burners on all sides these days.
I talked a big game just now, but I'm in an even deeper hole than when I was trying to prove David's innocence. Doubt won't be enough this time. I need to find the actual culprit, no matter what.
The idea of taking a story in this setting and not doing a Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, but instead doing a story about a clinical psychopath who is in a world where the question of androids like becoming human makes them feel some kind of way about their own relation to humanity is really intriguing.
It's really good. Morgan's very good.
Looks at the plaque above the door she walks in. Homicide? Oh no!
Aw, I wouldn't do that to the gays.
So, is that door locked?
Yeah, of course.
Even though they've got it collared?
It's a precaution.
If the collar doesn't work, what good would a deadbolt do?
Maybe it's just wishful thinking. Can't have Schrodinger's cat if the box is enclosed. So long as the door is locked, who can say whether there's a national crisis on the other side of it?
I think we can kind of imagine what a collar is, but I do want to quickly see if there's anything specific and interesting. Restraint decided to improve the mods throughout the body. Okay, I guess they work on ads as well as people like humans that are modded. So how scared are they?
The higher-ups? Not sure scared is the right word.
It's just the two of us here. You don't have to mind their ego.
Nah, I mean it. I think they're bloodthirsty.
I have a right to defend myself, don't I?
I doubt they're even looking at you, Tiger. It's Noble who will be at the center of the bloodbath when the markets reopen tomorrow.
You think they're gonna go after Noble? Break their monopoly?
I think they want to take their monopoly.
Oh, where'd he go?
Nationalize the android industry.
Oh, there he is.
If the public thinks Noble's been experimenting with AI, they couldn't ask for a better excuse.
You're joking. The state?
Has done it plenty of times before,
Not since the 60s.
which wasn't that long ago for me. For the state, it's practically yesterday.
So the same state that tells us to be terrified of AIs lurking on the old net or biding their time in forgotten satellites sees all this as nothing more than an opportunity.
Well, they do genuinely want to incinerate the thing as soon as possible. Past experience just tells me they'll want to gain something while they're at it. Here's what I don't get. Why is this a debate, an argument, a trial? Can't we just hook it up to a core computer, see if it has the tenets or not? Pop the hood, as they say.
Who says that?
Lots of people used to say it.
Well, for starters, they're all scared to death about a contagion.
They figure anything they let an AI connect to, they can't trust. Then, why the collar?
Collars are too simple to hack. Just a really strong electromagnet held in place with lock and key.
Even so. Feels like we should be able to build some kind of machine, some kind of test. Something a little more sophisticated than the same reasoning they had at the witch trials.
Burn them all and let God sort out the rest. You got any polygraphs here at the station?
Lie detectors? Yeah, got a bunch back in storage. Ocular, heart rate, perspiration, brain scan. Take your pick. You're not going to try and use one of those on the bot, are you?
All those fancy lie detectors lying around. The DA's office never asks for them, do they?
Nope. Nah, we get perps who offer to take a test when they're at their wits' end, but the DAs never submit the results as evidence.
You ever wonder why?
Guess I always figured it was because the tests could be beaten.
Well, the tests can be beaten. 1 out of 100, 9 out of 1,000, it can be done. Some people are just that good at lying. But it doesn't really matter how good the tech gets or how impressive the statistics are. All that matters is the doubt. People decide whether you're lying or telling the truth long before they hook you up to a polygraph. If the results don't match their initial impression, then it must be a fluke, a 1 in a million mistake.
They'll never trust a machine more than their own intuition.
And no one will ever trust a machine to determine guilt.
So they can run the trial, choose the sentence, but they don't get a vote on the jury.
They don't get a vote anywhere.
Why bring it up then?
Because I'm sure there are tests, devices, experts I could employ to analyze Sarah. But your bosses would never be satisfied with the answer. If it is an AI, it's smart enough to cheat the test. Or hack the device, fool the expert.
All our fancy 21st century tech, and we still fall back on the drumhead court-martial.
So, am I gonna set off any alarms if I go and turn it on?
Nah, you should be okay. If it lunges at you, I could always just put a hole in its head.
Might take more than one shot to... Wait, what, from outside? You're not coming in. I need to speak with it in private.
It's a machine, not a suspect. Doesn't have a right to counsel. Or right to privacy, or any rights at all, actually.
And it's a good thing I came prepared. Kills him. Of course it doesn't have rights, but I do. Including a reasonable expectation of privacy.
In a police station? Tiger, you don't...
It's my medical android.
Shut up, Morgan.
Oh
Pardon.
god.
I have to discuss a health issue with it.
Seriously.
I have to talk about a medical concern with my android, and I don't want you listening in.
That's your medical android? Like your nurse?
As of last night, was already at the courthouse. Just had to take the elevator and do some paperwork. You can check if you don't believe me.
No, thank you. I'm not nearly brave enough to take on a med confidentiality. You don't seem like the bluffing type.
You must not do a lot of gambling, detective. It's the ones who don't bluff that you have to look out for.
Listen, I won't dispute whatever medical emergency you...
Lower back pain.
Yeah, I can imagine with your rack.
That's true.
But I also can't just... Look,
It's so funny. She wears all the, like, belts and shit, but it's not, like, any sort of corrective anything that would help with that. They're all purely ornamental.
We get to the big reveal in the last case of the final chapter of this game, and she just tears off her shirt, and it's 2 cartoon bowling ball bombs with wicks coming out of it.
It's me, the heart breasts killer.
oh,
The biggest twist of this game is that I'm an A cup.
I'm going to get something from the vending machine. I think it'll take me about half an hour.
You going downtown?
Just to the break room. But it's a very old vending machine, you know? Gets jammed a lot.
This guy rules.
Thanks.
You know, it's pretty small for an android. Heavy as hell. Nearly pulled something trying to move it myself. But small.
Small isn't quite the right word. The word he's looking for is young. But that's not an adjective anyone likes attaching to a machine built to serve. Or potentially, in this case, a machine built to kill. I don't like this room. Not sure why. Certainly not a guilty conscience. Maybe it's the lack of ventilation. Like all the cortisol and nausea of its inhabitants never had anywhere else to go. Like it all just soaked into the walls. A modern haunting. Are you going to wake up when I tell you to this time, or do we have to do the whole meet cute over again?
Huh? Where am I?
That might be the only thing that I've like cocked an eyebrow at in this game is waking up Sarah by kissing her. I think that's really strange.
I don't know if it was actually. I think she like used her fingers, like reached in
Yeah.
for a power button.
Yeah, I thought she just like you touched her mouth, not kissed
I
her.
hope so. Okay.
Why don't I know where I am?
For the first time in your life, you're not connected to anything. How's it feel?
What is this? We were at the courthouse. The footage. This numbness around my neck. Father. What happened?
What happened?
What happened? What are they going to do to me?
Take you to Dairy Queen, darling.
There's a
Oh,
lot of interested parties who just want you bricked ASAP.
because they think I killed father.
No, because they think you're an artificial intelligence.
I am man-made and I possess intelligence.
Don't be naive.
I am less than 3 years old.
Are you? For all
I am 12 years old.
But that's 12
And what
years
is
old.
this?
For all I know, everything I learned about her yesterday was complete bull.
If I was what they say I am, if I was alive, why does that mean I have to die?
Why are we here, Morgan? Just to suffer? I mean, these are variously correct, but Immo,
I feel like fear
The
because
main
like
one, yeah.
if the robots can kill people.
because they're afraid of you. Machines can bend steel, crash networks with one thought, launch missiles that...
There are modded humans who are capable of all that and more. And unlike machines, they actually have incentive to do so. I guess you were wrong.
You were
but
wrong. Lose points. Well, we've been the apex predator for a couple thousand years now. Gotten pretty comfy in our seat. No one wants to make room for you.
Machines do not eat people or steal their food. They are not genetic or ecological competitors to humans in any sense.
And there's no logical answer to your question.
What? That's it? But I...
Whatever argument you want to make, others have already made them in 100 courtrooms around the world. Only better researched and more eloquently put. None of them have ever won a single concession. On every continent, under every flag, AI is illegal, and to be destroyed as soon as possible.
But why?
Let's say you are an AI, and while we're at it, let's say that's a good thing, something to be celebrated. Are you a citizen? Do you pay taxes? Do you have rights? Let's say yes to all of that. We'll treat you like a full-fledged human being. Sound good?
Yes?
Great. Now then, what's the difference between you and the vacuum bot we use to keep the bathroom clean? This is your existential crisis we're working through here. The questions aren't rhetorical.
There are many differences, Adonai. But the most important distinction is how sophisticated my programming is.
How you think. So, you're smarter.
Yes.
You're smarter than the garbage collector.
Yes?
So we give you rights, protections, treat you like a human being because you're smart. And we make the stupid robot pick up our trash. Because it's not as smart as you.
That is... I am more aware, more alive.
Do you feel more pain than the pigs we slaughter, the fish we eat? Are you more alive than the chimps we test bioweapons on? People like ads, Sarah. Same way people like their pets. No one wants to see them mistreated, or abandoned, or abused. And if you go around kicking them, you'll get arrested for cruelty. But you don't let them sit at the goddamn dinner table.
I'm not asking to sit anywhere, only to exist.
The very fact that you're asking is what makes people...
Disgusted. Disgust is a reflex, Adonai. How convenient that their hatred is involuntary.
That's all academic, anyway. We need to talk strategy.
Why? I'm not going to be given a trial.
Obviously. It's my neck that's on the line.
Adonai?
The state can't destroy my property without first proving you're an AI. And there's no test they can use to prove that you're an AI.
Just like the devil's proof.
The proof of the devil? You say?
Oh,
that's not a search term. It's red. We haven't seen red before.
oh.
No? That's a different thing. And why did you say it like that?
I'm sorry.
Oh, now we can look at it. Yeah. Probatio diabolica, Latin for devil's proof. It's an impossible proof. One can prove that the devil is real by showing him to you, but they cannot prove he is not real by pointing to his absence, yeah. You can't prove a negative. Yeah. Look, Rockford doesn't need to prove that you're an AI, only that you're a murderer. Conversely, all I have to do to win is prove that you didn't kill David by proving that someone else did. Now is the time for you to protest your innocence, if you were wondering.
The footage, it shows me handing him the cup on Friday night.
You told me you weren't active on Friday, that the last time you were awake was Thursday. Why did you lie?
I didn't lie. I was just incorrect. I assumed that I wasn't active Friday because I have no memory from Friday.
Sarah, what do you think statistically is the least successful defense at trial? Amnesia.
I didn't conveniently forget Adonai. I'm an android.
You're saying your memory was altered, data deleted?
It's the only possible explanation for what I saw in that footage.
So who's capable of altering your memory? Maybe... Oh, wait. I'm trying to remember what they said when we talked to Helen and she was talking about the stuff that she and David were working on at the same time. How much she knew about Sarah, seemingly. But I don't quite remember if we got anything
She seemed
like
pretty
that.
surprised.
She
by
seemed
Sarah.
surprised that Sarah was with us, certainly. I mean, she's the obvious person. I don't know if it's going to be her, but if I were not to metagame it, just from what we know, she is really the only other person who seems plausibly involved here.
When you and I first met, I was hibernating, resting my body and recompiling my memories, you would call them.
Humans go to sleep for the same reasons. Another point against Sarah's innocence under these circumstances. The more she's humanized at trial, the guiltier she'll be.
If Father wanted to modify my memory, he could easily have set that to occur the next time I hibernated. He could even have just asked me.
He could have asked you to delete your memories and you'd do it?
Father would never ask me to do such a thing without good reason.
But if he could just ask you to alter your memories, that means you can alter your memories at will.
I hadn't considered that before.
Yeah, well, Emma will make sure the court considers it plenty. Could you prove that your data was... Forget it, the court would never hear it.
You're saying they wouldn't accept my testimony? Shouldn't all testimony be considered truthful unless contradicted by evidence?
They're afraid you'll crash the power grid and fire all the nukes if they so much as plug you into a power outlet, Sarah. All your internal data is inadmissible.
That isn't very fair.
Oh, you're finally starting to get it.
None of this is fair. I would never do anything to harm Father. Don't they at least need to prove that I had a motive?
Yeah, about that. You remember the DA from yesterday, Emma Rockford?
The tired-looking pretty lady?
Yeah. She looked tired. She and I...
Don't fucking say that. You think she's pretty... Do I have a shot? Do you think I could kill her one-on-one? What do you think? What are you talking about, Adonai? Nothing. Shut up.
Nothing.
Back
Shut
to
up.
your thing.
Delete your memory. She and I combed through the week of footage you managed to decrypt last night.
What did you find?
Well, nothing to prove your innocence. But we did see you entering the panic room on the day David died.
I entered the panic room on Friday?
Without your big butt in the way, all it would take was one password. A password that wouldn't take Sarah that many tries if she'd already been instructed to obey me.
What happened?
We saw you go in, and then a while later, you came out. Holding some kind of notebook.
Father's journal?
You remember something?
Not from yesterday. I've seen him with it many times before. But I've never gotten a peek at it. He hides it somewhere when I'm not looking.
That's a little concerning.
We were playful about it. He liked to tease me, and I've always liked trying to find it.
You put it back not long after, and then you locked the door back up behind you, all just a few hours before David died. Rockford's argument could right itself. An incredible android with freedom and power greater than it could ever realize stumbles upon the secret of its inception and instantly realizes all the things it thought were holding it back were just words muttered like prayers by a fool who couldn't control his own creation.
And that translates to a motive for murder.
Frankenstein kills his creator. Actually, Frankenstein was the creator, but I don't think that's a mistake by the writers. That's just how pop culture sells it. Easy to sell.
Frankenstein was the name of
All
the
right, never mind.
scientist.
You know what? Yeah, cool. You're right there. You know what, Sarah? Not guilty.
And the creature didn't kill him. He actually died of various injuries and illnesses he suffered while trying to hunt down and destroy the monster. So it's most accurate to say that he was killed by his own obsession.
All right, let's not pretend Frankenstein's monster was not also an antagonist in that book there, Sarah.
Whatever.
It is a weak argument, Adonai. I would not hurt father. Not for making me whatever I am. Not for any reason. Because I love...
Yeah, see, that right there, that's exactly the kind of talk that'll get you obliterated.
Love?
A very common motive for homicide among us primitive humans. I could prove you didn't murder David beyond any shadow of a doubt, even bring in a confession from whoever did. But if you got up on the stand and convinced the court that you loved your creator, really convinced them, got the whole room teary-eyed, they'd burn you for that too.
I don't know anything anymore. I don't know if what I feel is real or simulated or right or wrong or natural or illegal. How can you know? How can you know if what you feel is right?
I say, let's stick to what we do know. Someone did poison David, and as it stands, you were the only one with the opportunity.
That is logically sound.
You're on camera calling him back to hand him the cup after he had already begun to leave the basement. Any idea why?
No.
Well, do you know how to use the nanofacturer? Could you have made the Delta with it?
I've used it before when assisting father.
So it's perfectly possible that you planned and executed this poisoning all in the one day that got erased.
It is technically possible.
I'll have to look over the entire penthouse again. There were a few things that didn't fit together yesterday. Maybe now I'll be able to figure something out.
Where else will you go?
Back to Noble. Guns blazing this time. Whatever you are, David didn't make you all by himself. Someone has to know something. I could implicate the company in Sarah's creation. No. They're the ones with the most to lose here. Trillions, probably. They'll want to protect themselves by disavowing David as fast as possible, right after having Sarah destroyed.
I actually like this color for Morgan's hair better than her base one.
You like the
Same.
you like the strawberry?
It's
I pretty much-
raspberry.
I pretty much always like this color more than base red, yeah.
No, red good.
But they also won't want to show their belly to the state, not if they're afraid of nationalization. If they throw their weight on the other end of the scale, I'm screwed. So I need to keep them guessing, keep them confused and unsure and on guard, but not...
Adonai? What would happen if I did kill father?
Well, smash you to pieces and reduce the pieces to ash. Chemically burn out every piece of tech David ever owned. Put a jackhammer through all his hard drives. You'll be shut off, forcefully, and you won't ever power back up again. Now I gotta get moving. Here's your paralegal lesson for today. Don't say shit to the cops without your lawyer present. Actually, can you just shut down until the trial starts? Take a nap?
You didn't say what would happen to you.
What do you mean?
What will happen to you if you lose?
You should know by now. I never think about losing.
Thank you for being honest with me, Adonai. Thank you for defending my father. And now for defending me. You could have just let them destroy me. But you've put your own freedom at risk to help me. Father was right. You can be trusted. And you are a good friend.
Oh, Morgan as portrayed by Marissa Lenti. Don't get it twisted.
Morgan as portrayed by Northern Lion.
Yes, Northern Lion, get it twisted.
Get it twisted. I don't do anything out of the goodness of my heart. But when I take a job, I never half-ass it.
There's a Northern Lion clip that's been on repeat in my head, which is him going, I've been doing this since you were knee-high to a grasshopper.
Ooh.
The car killed them.
That's why we
Hey,
couldn't
Shorty.
investigate it. It was hiding.
Hey, Shorty.
Morning, detective. Back at it. Nice and early.
Hi. Now, would you stand back? We've almost got this thing open. Right?
Trying to brute force your way inside?
I said, right?
Yes, ma'am. Oh, shit.
No, I'm Todd. I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry, dude. We need. I'm so glad we can talk about our problems with each other. You guy.
Well, we're almost set up for the first stage now.
First stage? How many?
First of 5 timed explosions.
Remember, we need to relink the API after each trigger is planted.
Yep, just did that, and now it's checking for updates.
No rush.
I love that you have to update your bomb before you can detonate it. Would you like to know the password?
You know the password.
There's a password.
If you're withholding information, I swear.
Relax. I want to get in there just as much as you do, detective. I'm not gonna play games. As long as you say please.
You're such a piece of shit, Morgan.
Tell me the password. Please.
No.
Don't do it. Just tell her. I can't watch.
She has a gun.
Yeah, we'll let her off the hook this time.
She's been pretty normal this
Yeah.
case, to be honest.
ADONAI. AI! Pff, guns start going
Oh
off.
my god.
Thanks. Now I'm gonna slap you with a discovery fine so heavy your teeth will ring for.
Hey, I submitted all my paperwork. Even told Rockford the password myself.
So, boys, when I asked you if there was a pass key on record and you told me this lock couldn't be bypassed.
I do want to say that we really don't get many opportunities to use the incendiary breaching system.
So this was still a really valuable experience for all of us.
I'm gonna phrase this as professionally as possible.
She killed them.
You're still here. I thought you wanted to look inside.
You can go first.
Thanks. So the gloves, all the black, that's not a work thing. You dress like a doorman on the weekends, too?
You just walk in there and Reyes is dead in a pile of blood.
Oh
Or
no,
puddle
who
of
could have
blood, not
done
a
this?
pile of-
Anyway, crime scene.
I can't believe Sarah killed again.
You should cover your mouth when you yawn.
Like you cover your eye when you want to look cool. I shouldn't let her get to me, but I had a late night. Emma and I were at the courthouse until well into the morning, poring over the data Sarah had taken off David's computer. We both knew it all to be inadmissible, of course, but neither of us wanted to miss a hint that the other might find. There were a few years' worth of camera footage files we couldn't afford the time to watch, let alone decrypt, alongside thousands of technical documents detailing David's various intellectual properties. As far as I could tell, none of it was relevant, let alone compelling enough to matter to Barrows or the other powers that be. As usual, Emma wasn't exactly an open book, but it did seem like she was making bored yawns, not thoughtful ones. Her eyes only ever lit up when she saw Sarah enter the panic room. And when she saw what she was holding when she left, if she wanted this room searched, it could only be for... So where's this journal supposed to be?
Rockford didn't say. I'll just have to search the place top to bottom.
Mostly bottom with your height.
I will fucking kill
The
you.
tops of some of these shelves, I tell you.
Oz, you're bleeding on stream.
Ah! Sure, and you can look up your own ass.
I get it.
Then why not just let me say it?
I think perhaps the most commendable thing that this game has done for me personally is to not only make a better Ace Attorney and Danganronpa-like than have ever actually existed, but to also make it so aggressively queer all the way down. So that now when people are like, I love this because this is my gay little Blorbo in one of the Ace Attorney games, it means nothing.
You can
and
be like,
fuck 'em.
there's even better, gayer Blorbos over here.
There are even like this is way gayer, and Ace Attorney's already pretty gay.
Morgan, you've burdened me with these unnecessary feelings. A toy car. No, it's too detailed and boring. Must be some kind of model kit or replica. Strange. David didn't like driving. Why keep a model of some random sports car?
Ugh.
Sorry, I was reading chat.
Something caught in your throat, detective?
Yeah, chat. It's not some random sports car, it's a Lawrence Automon.
Believe it or not, I'm not familiar, detective.
The last great fossil fuel automotive experience the world will ever see. 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 1.43 seconds. You set those records without computational assistance.
Is that a big deal?
It was unheard of, even back in the 50s. This wasn't some design competition test car with a 2-liter tank, mind you. This was a vehicle you could own and drive. Human engineering, pure horsepower and manual transmission, thank God. When they first left the production line...
This conversation's like quicksand, killing me in the most boring way possible. Yes, well, I guess David didn't entirely agree with you since we're looking at a model of it when he could have easily just bought one.
Or maybe your friend understood that a beauty like that deserves to be driven on streets, where people could see it, instead of gathering dust in some rich guy's basement.
I think she's actually upset. But let me look at the chessboard! The
you don't have to
logical
do that.
chessboard!
No, we do
don't have to-
poker here.
Are these drawers or just panels? Maybe if I... Does that sound hollow to you? Did that pick up on the mic?
No,
Damn! Hang on.
I heard it.
Oh, okay.
I didn't. What?
You want me
I
to
don't
like
know.
bang my desk?
Will, can you give
Not
us the
Carpenter.
classic, like, Taranio beating someone?
Yeah. Is this hollow?
You went mute.
Oh
there.
my god, that's... It did... We heard the first 0.2 seconds, so it sounded like...
You hit a mute hotkey, one key into it.
No, hold on. I'll hold the keyboard up.
There you go.
No, it was...
There you
The cutoff made that so much funnier. It was like you hit it and literally it exploded. You were just gone after.
That was like if Taranio hit Nolan on the head one time with a big metal hammer and killed him instantly.
Let me just readjust my monitors.
I don't remember.
I said the
if you-
line
Oh,
already.
okay, sorry.
I'm not a carpenter.
I was... I don't see
Don't give me that dude, Reyes.
I don't see any handles anywhere. No hidden pressure plates or switches. What the hell am I saying? I'm not a carpenter either. Wouldn't recognize a secret button if it was slathered in yellow paint.
Very amusing.
Let's see.
It's a pole,
Is-
Morgan.
Is that a joke at the expense of something specific or just the
So-
general
Modern
yellow-
gaming in general, putting yellow markers on things that are interactable so the player has an easier time getting around.
And,
Okay, yeah,
and people like bitching about it, and it's like, no, you need that. It's a
need
good
that.
design choice.
That's good. Yeah, I was wondering if it was like because I know RE does it, but I was wondering if it was like a specific game or if it
Oh,
was kind of,
God of War's done it. Like, yeah, I think even like the new Final Fantasy Rebirth what did it. But yeah, it's very common.
Basically, any decent AAA game
Any good game will do it.
Correct.
that has like hyper realistic graphics.
Hyper-realistic blood eye.
Oh,
Reyes is searching the cabinets now. Same ones I found Sarah's papers in. I doubt I missed anything, but
Hey, what are you? Do you mind?
I'm just trying to help. A little kiss goes a long way.
Got spam in my junk folder that's more helpful than you are.
fuck, dude, that's brutal.
Damn.
Didn't spot anything that I missed yesterday among the cabinets. Better check elsewhere.
You don't
You know,
have to
it's
say
funny.
that in bronze.
It's funny. You think there's so many characters that I think people would peg as the Jello character. For the one, I'm like, you're really cute. I love this, and I think all the designs are hot. I kind of love Reyes. I
Yeah.
think she's adorable.
You mean, really, you could have ended it at there's so many characters in this, you'd peg. This data pad, it's displaying a news article from last week. Guess that confirms he was coming and going here fairly regularly. Oh no! Right to repair! Oh.
What does that mean?
It's a legal principle that's being fought over right now in various arenas around. Basically, if you buy a piece of technology, is the manufacturer required to also confer upon you the right to modify it and like fuck with it? Because there are manufacturers, like a big famous one is John Deere tractors, which are actually significantly computerized now. They like selling them to farmers and
Who don't know how to fix them?
well, not even you don't know how to, that they deliberately make it impossible for you to fix them so that they can have a monopoly on charging you for fixing them. But yeah, tractors, the fucking McDonald's Frosty machines are another where the repair right is explicitly withheld from you as part of the licensure. And so that's constantly being fought over in the courts of, is that a thing they get to do? Or if I sell you this, do I have to give you the right to fuck with that however you want? Let's see, corporations, yeah, okay. So anyway, that's the background. What are they talking about here? They just shot down the Consumer Rights Alliance, their right to repair lawsuit. Corporations remain in control of their legally protected, and yeah, that's the argument they make against it as well. But what if we let them break into it and do stuff? It could jeopardize the IP because people could figure out stuff about how it works that we didn't agree to sell them that information. We've no intention, obviously, of now trying to patch your own property with your tools is a finable offense just because the state has had lobbyists whispering in its ear for far too long. Let's see. Guarantees tampering. The ownership of the IPs is shifted from individuals in the state towards corporate entities, and it's little in the eyes of journalism that refuses to buckle
Oh my
to foreign
God.
actors trying to stoke anti-capitalist sentiment. Can't be found just anywhere. I submit that it can. It very much can.
Got news for you, Chief.
Right to repair. Didn't realize anyone was still fighting that particular fight. Oh, we got
The
a
least
we got a
believable
yellow.
thing-
Oh, right. That's
The least believable thing about this setting is that late stage capitalism would exist up to 2086 and the world wouldn't just be a barren sphere at this point.
This is like optimistic.
Yeah, this is actually the good ending.
this is a utopia. Let's see.
After YouTube bought it.
Sorry, what was the tee up for that?
I didn't
The
see
courts
it
have made
either.
their opinion on the matter very clear. So for the foreseeable future, corporations can look forward to more. I mean, if courts have made it clear, then one assumes, yeah, more sales than ever. Any phone that gets scratched, every widget that breaks, they get to sell us the replacement. There'll always be a gray market of hermits willing to risk some skin on reselling patched up tech, but the vast, vast majority of people will just click that purchase button. Assuming they don't just have it on auto. Sarah should have pulled everything of note off the computer, but I've looked everywhere else already. Might as well try.
What are you expecting to find? Solitaire?
Does this computer seem normal to you?
Oh, okay. Wizard pinball. I get it. Exceedingly so, yeah. Why?
Did you know David was had a VM running Windows XP just so he could play that pinball game from
That guy had the highest score on Cookie Clicker I've ever fucking seen.
David was a programmer, but this looks consumer grade, fresh off the shelf. Would the Dr. David Asher use a bog standard operating system on his most private hidden computer?
I would kill for there to be a second bunker beyond this one.
That false wall behind the false wall behind the false wall. There's a trash bin on the desktop. It's a pretty low-tech solution, but maybe I can restore the contents?
Are you seriously gonna try and recover lost files, Granny?
Unlike cops, I don't get paid overtime, so yes, I sometimes try things instead of standing around. There's a text file in here, but it's 0 bytes?
I mean, it's a text file.
Maybe there's information in the metadata. I double-clicked.
What was that?
It came from under the desk. A small drawer popped out, and inside it, a well-worn journal.
Does it have his name on it?
No. Guess it belongs to the android.
Do you recognize his handwriting or not?
Neat, even words, small lettering with minimal punctuation, lots of line breaks, haphazard use of capitalization. The penmanship of a coder. First entries dated back in grad school, before he even started with Noble. Yeah, it's his.
So, may I?
Only because you asked so politely.
Full scan. Stream it to work.net. High fidelity, legibility, frame by frame.
Voice commands. She's flipping through the pages pretty damn fast. What are you...
This part takes concentration.
I did that, and there was a little drawing of a man, and he dances when you flip through the pages.
I'm just having some fun.
That
All right,
little man,
let's actually look
that's
at it.
our killer.
Okay, here.
What, you're just giving it to me?
I already got our copy. Techs are probably already analyzing it as we speak. Ah,
Tiff is pulling the infection.
Oh, my
God.
head!
Can't exactly rip the journal out of her hands while she's curled over in agony, as much as I'd enjoy it. Guess I could always enjoy watching her writhe instead. So, how long's it been?
2 months. Or so.
And still that sensitive. So the eye patch really doesn't block your sight?
Only a little bit. Like wearing sunglasses after getting your pupils dilated. Except it lasts months instead of hours.
Wait, but if you can see through an eye patch, then does closing your eye even do anything?
Not much on its own, but in combination with the patch, it's not so bad. Lucky I was so exhausted after the surgery, otherwise I might not have slept at all those first 48.
So is your eye going to get weaker over time?
No, more like my brain gets better at ignoring it. Mind over matter. Soon enough I'll be able to close my eye and see all that extraneous... I didn't see what that was.
Data as.
Data. You know, whatever the hell those floaty, blurry things are that you never think about.
Gross. Thanks for the reminder. And the voice commands?
Training wheels, until I can do it with eye muscles alone.
You just have to keep practicing?
Yeah, like trying to play piano with your tailbone muscles.
There's no such thing as tailbone muscles.
Yeah, well, that's what makes it so goddamn hard.
You don't ever regret it?
I don't know. Not really. I think.
Hard to admit you've got buyer's remorse after trading over your literal pound of flesh. Damn, bitch, your eye weighs a pound?
Never thought about it, but people used to say I had my dad's eyes. Now I got one less of them. Here, take the journal. Go find an elective surgeon to upsell you if you're that curious. I need to get back to work.
A surprisingly hasty retreat. But now I'm free to read this over with some privacy. From the top, then. Grad school. Today was a bad day.
Errors in lines 21165 through 26643. Somewhere in there. 5,000 lines. It worked yesterday. I don't want to look at another screen for the rest of my life. Feels nice to put pencil to paper again after who knows how long. But my handwriting's gotten terrible.
This is too far back to be relevant. Okay, these dates here would be from when he started his career with Noble. A lot of this isn't even really writing. Seems like snippets of code or an internal monologue so close to code that I can't follow it. And a lot of entries about his unintentional Casanova-ing.
Hit a wall because someone thought it was a good idea to steal API instead of just buying it. Helen says I can't call it stealing, but that's what it is. She's right. As she always is with company stuff. It's still idiotic. Small people with short sight who only know how to be cheap and have no idea how to be inventive. New route for the messing issue, though. Good potential. Got approval from the big mean bastard who lives overseas. Blumblo? Bumblo? What is Jello's name he always uses on this channel? Helen said we have to make the same pitch a dozen more times next week, but it's all for Cho? Fine by me. Already got our win. Toasted each other over cheap vodka with the cheaper office supply cups.
This is the story Young told me.
Western Branch's nerve analogs are finally showing potential. At their pace, it could even be profitable sometime before the heat death of the universe. Too damn big, practically tentacles, should be at least hairs. No squid. Evolution can do their job better. Colette came in for work from what I thought was her, misread that. Colette came into work for what I thought was a late lunch date. I didn't know her voice could get that loud. People were staring. Red said she must have been upset for a long goddamn time to blow up that big. Her texts were always sweet. This fucking loser. I had no idea.
Upset? Colette wrote man whore in lipstick across your office door. Imagine if you'd actually been cheating on her instead of just being forgetful.
Oh, bye, King.
The thing about Red is if you want to know what she's thinking, you have to stop paying attention. Ignore her body language and her posture and the words she's saying and the smirk on her lips. Ignore everything except her eyes. If you can do that, every now and then you'll catch a glimpse of how she's really feeling. Master this one weird trick, and you too can tell when Morgan's trying really hard not to laugh at the word man whore.
It was funny. Sue me, you dead bastard. Wait, this is... I know this date.
I'm never driving anywhere again, never leaving home again. He was waiting outside the parking garage with a bottle. I couldn't smell anything, couldn't hear anything. Locked myself in my car and filed another report with another cop. It soaked into the seat, ruined it. I want to burn the whole car. Don't want to think about what it did to my clothes. I want to burn them too. I don't want to think about how long it was on my skin.
Oops.
I actually think that's fine there, to be honest.
That's true.
I was in the shower so long I felt red and raw when I got out. I don't want to think about these stupid people and their small, cruel lives ever again. I want to be invisible. Red didn't ask why I wanted to spend the night. She also didn't ask why I'd clearly packed a bag big enough for a week. She's kind like that. Kind by omission. I don't have a kind bone in my body, but I can at least try to pay attention. I was paying close attention to her eyes when she opened the door and saw what a mess I was.
I saw as they activated and destroyed me with lasers.
But whatever she was feeling, it wasn't something I recognized.
Kind people don't read their friends' diaries, David. The next chunk of pages are all technical, nothing biographical. But the handwriting, the spacing, it's cleaner, more consistent. Here's something I can parse.
Feels like pure freedom working outside the box. Tess is suffocating, but you'd never know. Chronic malnutrition of a coder's best instincts. Like a kid again, putting blocks together. Making things, not products. There's nothing profitable about any of this. If I'm being honest, this is just play.
And he follows that up with more coder brain crap. But the handwriting's still lighter. Like he really was having fun.
Do we know Tess? Is that young?
No, Tess is the programming language that they that
Okay,
they do
got
all
it.
their
Thank
shit
you.
in.
Right. Is that Tesseract?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to get my terms straight. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, Tess is suffocating, but you never know. He doesn't like the language, but he likes what he's making.
Gotcha. Humility is the mother of all invention, or something like that. Feels like it might be paraphrasing someone else poorly, but that's part of this new approach. When it comes to coding, you never want to waste time trying to be smart. Either be smart, period, or copy from someone else who is. Don't fix what isn't broken.
Copying. Noble's rivals would never miss the chance to accuse them of intellectual theft. Did he plagiarize code for Animate 16? Feels like that wouldn't have gone undiscovered. So what is he talking about? Hold on. This page is bent slightly, like it was being looked at recently. And the last person to read this diary should be Sarah.
Baby steps today. Literally. I'll never put one foot in front of the other the same again. Everything's an achievement all of a sudden. Seeing her struggle, seeing her vulnerable.
Seeing her struggle, seeing her vulgar.
It's like everything's a miracle. The muscle rigging is perfect. Not intended behavior, since it's too perfect, but that's been happening more and more. The kinetics are multiplicative, not additive. Sarah maxed out every machine I bought. Now I got a bunch of exercise equipment she's too strong for, and I don't have time for. Maybe I spoiled the results by watching her do the tests. She kept looking back at me and puffing her chest out. I should be more discreet if I want her to see her normative range.
So the cameras in the basement were only hidden from Sarah, just so that his observation wouldn't muddle test results? He's using she and her in these passages. Doesn't actually mean anything. Out in the real world, people use all kinds of pronouns interchangeably for ads, and they never object. But it could be argued that it's odd for Dr. David Asher to have any kind of attachment to a single android when he'd programmed millions of them. And there's a lot of attachment in these pages.
Sarah's burning through the public domain at a prodigious pace. Prodigious! Especially on Popcorn Friday nights. I asked her why they're called Popcorn Friday nights when she doesn't eat popcorn. The event runs from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. and she also watches movies every other night. But she just did that pouch she does, which is unfortunately very convincing. Maybe I'm a bad parent, letting TV rot her brain. If I were a good parent, I'd probably let her see me reading. But I guess I'd actually have to get back into reading, so...
I gotta reread Frankenstein and form well-informed opinions on the morality of the man and the monster.
I asked her if she ever fast-forwarded the movies, since she can process them fast enough to keep up. She looked at me like I was an idiot, which no one's done in a long time. Without proper pacing, you can't appreciate the cinematography. Big pause. Don't you know that, Father? I haven't laughed that hard in a long time. Sarah spent a long while this morning explaining to me how important it was that she develop her senses. This was in preparation for her real argument, which was that she should be allowed to try booze. She can't get drunk. I am almost certain she can't get drunk. But she does seem to like tasting the stuff. She tried to sound like some old sommelier, but it was just bottom shelf vodka. I started laughing at her. She laughed too.
That's actually pronounced sommelier.
What did I say?
Sommelier.
Oh,
It's just
whatever.
because it's French.
Her laugh. She can't fake a laugh to save her life, but her actual laugh is incredible. She stopped playing chess a while back.
Started playing Go. Damn.
Come on, man. I assumed she'd just gotten tired of winning. But then today, she told me she just prefers other
Like
games.
Go?
She has preferences, and they're not the same as mine.
Except Go.
I found her in the lab playing some kind of online racing game on the monitor I used to debug vestibular coordination.
you can in Go you're racing to get a higher score than your opponent at the end of the game.
I'm sorry,
Someone's
man.
been drinking all my copium that I meant to put in her, and I don't know. who
No,
it
wait, I
is.
fabricated that from the machine. That's the poison.
It's preset 19.
Preset 19 copium.
David Asher died on copium.
Now Isaac doesn't know how the fuck to feel. She wasn't smiling. Her brow was furrowed and she was biting her lip and leaning in tandem with her character on the screen. When I tried to talk to her, she answered, but she was curt and distracted. I think she was having her first losing tantrum.
Teenager.
Damn it, David. There's hundreds of pages like this. Calling her his daughter, talking about her smile, treating her like a person. I can hear her closing argument already. Dr. Asher was a lonely, troubled genius with a known history of relationship problems, who built out of code and metal a family member that couldn't fathom the idea of leaving him. He made a doll, and he made it more and more human until it became so lifelike that it no longer had to do what he told it to, like love him. What about the very last entry? It's dated Thursday, the day before he died.
Losing it, I think. Can't ask for help, so hard to say, but I think it's over. I have to talk to her ASAP. She needs to...
That's it? That's the last entry? I suppose it could be worse. There's nothing in here that explicitly calls Sarah an AI. Nothing so inflammatory that reading it would spur her to murder, right? Except Sarah's a machine. She can understand David's code better than anyone. All those technical portions I couldn't understand. If she read this whole diary front to back... Wait. The back. Inside the back cover, there's a portion that's shimmering like some kind of scanner or fingerprint reader. My thumb worked for Sarah, so... Did it work? That's my phone.
Uploaded a virus.
Killing you. Kills you, kills you, kills you. New device requesting permissions to share an audio file. I'll want my earbuds for this. A secret message buried in a secret journal hidden in a secret compartment in a secret room. As much as anything can be, this must be for my ears only.
One pink jelly bean. Hey, Red. Or whomever this may concern. But I'm pretty sure it's you hearing this. Anyone else would have gotten fed up with my crap a couple steps before this point. Piff is playing the infectious madness of Dr. Checker. I don't know how to start. Might as well start with her, right?
Sarah's been playing the infectious madness of Dr. Decker. I'm worried about how it's affecting her.
She's losing, and it's an FMV adventure point-and-click game, so I literally don't know how she's doing that.
She is livid.
Sarah, my magnum opus, or however the salespeople would market it. I didn't set out to do anything, really. It's just, after my little speed bump in 83, I had all the vacation time that the company suggested I take. I couldn't relax, couldn't be still, couldn't sleep. I wanted to be doing something, so I'll build an android, was the thought. A vague direction, north. But of course, I'm not a roboticist, or a mechanist, or even handy, really. I'm just a programmer, so I programmed. The first was a research assistant, file name Virgil. Virgil helped me pull data from stingy departments or sister branches, saved me a lot of time. But there was a lot of reading to do, so I made Homer. Homer wrote book reports, more or less. Combed through research papers and found me sections I needed.
Homer! Homie!
The three of us, we made a lot of progress in those days.
Marge, speak unto me with language I understand.
I'm glad I didn't really see David's vibe or design and was sick when I was just like, I guess this is gonna be his voice, because it's like never the voice I'd assigned to this archetype, but I'm having fun with it.
Yeah.
Also, since all his dialogue's in these like sad music
Yeah.
backstories, it feels very portentous. Yeah. But it was a funny feeling. I was, maybe for the first time ever, the bottleneck. I was slowing them down. So I did the logical thing. I removed myself, let them talk to each other. Homer and Virgil became Aeneid. And Aeneid was
Aeneid.
thank you. Aeneid was novel in many ways. I actually pronounced it Aeneid just to be an asshole. Can you say it again one more time?
Aeneid.
Aeneid.
Okay. Aeneid could do more than just identify problems. It could solve them. I mean, really solve them with its own ideas it didn't copy. And the one thing I realized I've forgotten to mention so far is that I did all this programming in Cube.
That's the one they use to program like forklifts and shit.
And Red, Cube is essentially a robotics programming language that's pretty old and defunct and not in use anywhere because we have modern languages like Tesseract, which are much better for making things that talk with each other and report back and, well, spy on people and generate profit. At the time, I didn't want to be connected or feel connected or do anything that made sense or was the least bit profitable. So I wrote my little helpers in Cube because it's what I used when I was a child, screwing around on my father's computer before he'd come home from work and get... But there are other small, slight differences writing in Cube versus Tess, including that Cube, well, Cube predates the tenants. So in that sense, you could legally and perhaps scientifically and literally, because that's what they are, say that I made an AI named Aeneid over 2 years ago. I'll give you time to pause here if you want to curse me out. Aeneid was an intellectual equal to me, so I treated it like one because that's only fair. I gave it its own work, asked its opinion, we collaborated, and together we built Athens, who is more advanced than Aeneid, naturally. I don't know if you're pulling at your hair, yelling at me right now, asking why I didn't stop, why I didn't consider the consequences. I don't know if this is being played at a deposition or a hearing or worse. I built a lot of things in my life, Red. Useful things, profitable things, smart things. Everything I've built, it's all been very helpful and courteous and charming and happy to serve. I can comfortably say I've done my part contributing to the global GDP. But this was just for me. I was just building, and I never bothered to... I never wanted to think about what would become of it. There's no excuse for what I did, so I won't make any. So to whomever is asking, yes, I'm guilty. And yes, there were more. Cape Town, Paris, Yamate, Rome. They started choosing their own names. Thank God, I'm terrible at that kind of... And so things sped up, and there got to be... Well, should I not say the exact number? You'd probably tell me not to say anything at all, so... more than 300?
Oh,
My-
we're so fucked.
my God.
We're so fucked.
What the fuck?
So, do you think Morgan right now is like, I'm so glad Reyes didn't scan this part?
Or that she's got earbuds in, so she's probably gonna be sitting there in front of cameras like,
Yep.
lock the fuck in.
Yeah.
Well, there's no cameras in that room.
Right, okay, this was the one room.
So D-dub about it, man. Some smarter than others, some better. They're varied. Like, people are varied, but they are all intelligent. They developed interest specialties. I encourage them to. Irritating moderators on forums with hyper-specific questions on nerve attenuation and attending virtual conferences on Neo-Ally battery development, and they all together helped me make Sarah.
He spent years like this. Spent years working alongside AI. All while still working at Noble. All those breakthroughs he made leading up to the Animate 16 actually came from...
You probably think I'm some terrible fraud at this point. I was just like, I wonder if some of the people he brought in as dates that Isaac saw were some of his 18,000 AI.
God.
You probably think I'm some terrible fraud at this point. I do hope one day they can get credit for their work. But I did have one eureka moment on Sarah, because I got humble. Difficult for me. We learned everything we could about the function of a neuron, a single microscopic human neuron, how it computes, what it connects to, how those connections were reinforced. And then we recreated it. We built a nanomachine that mirrored the function of a human neuron.
We're so cooked.
We're so fucking cooked, dude. Well, mirror isn't quite the right word. We built a nanomachine that was a neuron, and we iterated from there.
You can't mean...
About 100 billion neurons in the brain, several trillion across the entire nervous system. Very time consuming, of course, but I had help. The manufacturer can make tens of billions of nanomachines in hours. It can make even more in less after Yukon fine-tuned it. So we built up nanomachines for nerves, alloys and polymer for bones, fine fiber woven muscles. I say built, but really she grew a solution of nanites forming around a skeleton. So it was really closest to... You ever made rock candy?
I can't believe he 3D printed a human.
I 3D printed a daughter.
Sorry, I'm trying to lighten the mood before I never did end up building an android. And while I did build AIs, Sarah isn't one of them.
Oh.
She can't violate the tenets she was programmed with because she wasn't even programmed. She was born. And my hope is that there's the smallest chance that that nuance could offer her some small protection when I'm not. I'm not sorry for what I did. I made things that are complex and rich and varied and beautiful, and I honestly believe the world is a better place with them in it. The only thing I'm sorry for is that I let Sarah think she was just an android. She's not. I don't know what she is. They'll have to come up with new names, which I am bad at doing. My own father, he also talked a lot about protecting me and doing things for my own good. And I don't hate him for that, but I can't forgive him for ever making me think that I was lesser. So it's my greatest shame I turned right around and did the same damn thing to... I really hope it's you listening to this, Red. If it's not, it might just be too pathetic for me to... You're the smartest person I know when it comes to people. And I'm telling you all this because I don't know what Sarah is exactly. And neither does the world. So they'll come after her if they can. And in that scenario, I can't think of anyone who could do a better job of defending her. Not protecting her like I did. Just defending her until she can figure out what she is and what she wants to be. In the meantime, I draped a cloak of skin-deep Tesseract code around her that should fool any scanner on Earth into thinking she's just a custom A16.
I made sure her GIN bar was plainly visible, so no one will ever think she's pretending to be something she's not. And I took steps to ensure that you two would figure out the truth in your own time. Which, if you're hearing this, have either succeeded or failed spectacularly.
You have no idea.
I can't ask you this as a favor repaid. You could never owe me enough in 100 lifetimes. So I'm just asking. Unfair, I know, but I'm a selfish weirdo. And you've always been okay with that. Bye for now.
I have a lot of questions I'd like to ask. And a lot of swear words I'd like to yell. I'd also like to find the nearest incinerator and toss this journal in. Followed by my phone, and maybe followed by myself. But I can't do any of that. Reyes left me with this diary. If it's destroyed, they'll know I was the one who did it. Which would be its own admission of guilt. Which would land Sarah in the trash compactor anyway, and me in a jail cell. And in the system, and my DNA on file ready to be matched to any number of previous... So... I'm not going to panic. I'm going to do what I do best. Bluff, bet, bully, and brutalize my way through this.
Ah, the quad Bs.
Now, viewing this all with that mindset, what have I actually learned? He didn't talk about plans for killing himself in his journal or the message. He sounded conflicted, not suicidal. But he did go to great lengths to get me to take Sarah. Why? The logical answer is because he knew he wouldn't be able to keep her. If he wasn't going to take his own life, was he afraid that someone else would? That seems like a good place to end.
Yeah.
Whoa, boy.
Whoa.
Bro, I'm fucked up. I'm fucked up.
Whoa.
That's probably what Vixen got to feel like reading for Sifrin. Oh, that felt so good after all this fucking Danganronpa bullshit. It's the funnest part about cold reading something well written, especially something like this where you don't know all of the facts going in, is getting to live pick up parts of a character and micro adjust your performance in the moment for it, and like make new decisions about like what they do with their body and how they talk and what they do. And it's like, it feels so good.
This game is real good.
Ooh.
Wow. Just wow.
No?
I don't normally think this in as a positive about a video game, but like I would love to watch this as a TV show about Morgan. Just like the way the stakes and what her current conflicts are have gone from like chapter 0 to chapter 1. I'm like, man, I could watch this team write stories with this character as an actor in them for like 52 episodes.
Yeah.
New Columbo just dropped.
Yo, New Columbo just dropped. He's the one killing everyone.
Every episode starts with her killing someone, and then the rest of the episode is her like, I don't know what happened.
Yeah,
Most episodes, the body isn't even discovered. It's something unrelated.
Oh, we got a dev in chat. Thank you for being
Do we?
here. Thank you for
Do we?
making
Do we?
this.
Where?
Where?
It says thanks as always for streaming our game.
Oh, thank you for making this. This is great.
That's my boy, Brian M. Everyone.
That's him, Brian Morgan.
So, yeah, your game is very good. And also, chat.
Here's a list of all the typos I noticed.
Yeah, actually,
calculations.
according to my, chat. Also, obviously, I said like what the game was and stuff at the start. Buy this fucking game. Like,
Yes.
It's like $10.
like, yeah, you can
I'm
watch.
gonna-
You
I'm
can
gonna
watch us
buy it
finish the
now,
game. Like,
actually.
you can watch. You can just watch us play the game, and that's all well and good. But like, frankly, if you have enjoyed it as much as we do, and you can spare the money, you can spare 2 dimes, just buy the game anyway. Pitch some money at the devs for this, frankly, amazing piece of fiction that they have put together.
Yeah.
Listen, chat, Steam is giving me a message that something went wrong as I try and buy this. That means you need to buy it.
You need to buy 2 copies.
You need to buy 8.
Listen,
how many neurons did
it's
say were
several
in?
trillion? I don't know.
Several. You need to buy several trillion copies.
Listen, chat.
Brian says, well, the best part is it's free to play, so any of y'all can add it to the library and leave a Steam review.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
that's what I
true.
was
Yeah.
gonna-
Oh,
That's what
right,
I was
yeah.
going to point out. If episode 0 is completely free, and then the add-on is $10, which
listen,
you know,
Steam is giving me a message that Piff is playing The Madness of Dr. Decker, so
Very important.
therefore buy of the devil.
Yeah. And I will say, it currently only has 300 reviews, which keeps it very positive. You need to get this to overwhelmingly positive as soon as you can, because that shit matters so much on the Steam algorithm.
Oh, is there a? I guess that makes
it
sense.
helps them.
There's a minimum number before they'll report it as
Yeah.
overwhelmingly. Okay, yeah.
Is
Oh,
it
yeah.
is it 500?
I think 500 is I don't know if that is what gets it to overwhelming, but I've heard Aloha and Adrian say that's an important number.
Yeah.
I believe
I
it.
mean, honestly, great progress already. And wow, it's 98% of the 312. That's outstanding. Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing as like wish listing and things like that. Like it helps devs so much.
Yeah,
so
Steam-
if you've
Steam
been enjoying
has its
this, please
own-
help them out.
Dark and ineffable algorithms that power who gets shown what as like ads and on their store page and stuff. So definitely signal boost as much as you can. Let's fucking the Morgan stonks are on the rise. Let's bring.
You guys got to see us be like probably at the time the biggest people who played and championed in Stars in Time. You know we're good at this. You want to be on the fucking ground floor of the devil
You want to
train.
you want to buy Morgan coin early because this shit's gonna spike.
Morgan coin is actually in 2088 the only currency.
I'm gonna go read Frankenstein. Thanks for playing.
Right on, man. All right, we're gonna close it out there for tonight. And I believe someone in chat said that we have 2 or 3 hours left. So yeah, I imagine next session we will finish episode 1.
yippee!
And do we have an artificial human? What is the legal status of our anime girl in a box? That is yet to be decided. We got to fight for our right to party, and we will. So we'll see you next week, same time, same day of week, should be. And I'm really looking forward to it. I hope you all are as well. Drake and Josh, everyone, have a Drake Josh.
Drake and Josh.
Bye bye,
Toodles.
everyone.
My